reason to keep riding.
Visit your local Suzuki dealer and get $300 cash back or low APR during Suzuki's Summer Sizzler event.
Right now, all Goodyear brand tires are on sale through June 8th. So you can get Goodyear Eagles, Aquatreds, and Wranglers all on sale. Plus, get up to $75 on a cash card when you buy 4 selected Goodyear tires.
New from Maven and Hall of Fame pitching coach Bob Todd. The basics and fundamentals, 1, 2, 3. Now you can bring home his experiences and valuable techniques in this easy-to-follow step-by-step video. Identify and cure common problems. Learn to feel the correct mechanics. And the drills that will help you clearly understand the difference between doing it right and doing it wrong. This video is not available in any store. To order, call 1-888-44-MAVEN. That's 1-888-44-MAVEN. Play the game without any doubts.
Later on SportsCenter, the boss speaks on money, Daryl, rings, and rules.
If you want to play for me, you want to march with my army, that's the way you got to march.
SportsCenter after the game on ESPN.
RPM Tonight from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. First aid for stomachs. Use as directed.
Mark Martin wins the No Bull bonus of $1 million for the win at Charlotte on Sunday evening. Tune into RPM at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time Monday for all the details. David Coulthard got the first win of the year from McLaren at the Monaco GP. Juan Montoya blew a motor 46 laps in. Michael was second. Robin Miller with final thoughts on the politics of what we saw on Sunday at Indy.
They're going to be talking all week on the forums and everywhere else. Was this a political decision? They did not want CART to win 3 straight races? Is that why this decision was made? That's what they're going to be talking about? We're going to dissect it here in the next 48 hours and find out. I don't think so, but it's going to give everybody a lot of fodder for conversation.
The Speedway's been a great host. Indianapolis has been a great host. Thanks a lot for joining us this weekend. We'll see you next week. The story hasn't finished yet. See you later.
The women 1,500-meter runners are on the track. Welcome, everyone, to the Prefontaine Classic in Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. There you see the athletes. 13 of them will line up. In Grand Prix events as this is, the fields and the distance races are large. There is 38 years young Regina Jacobs, who has been the dominant woman middle distance runner in America all through the 90s. And there you see the American record by Mary Slaney and the Prefontaine best set by Gabby Szabo 2 years ago. Take the 1,500-meter distance, add 18 seconds to it, and that's what the full mile distance would be. It's 3 3/4 laps around your high school track, and there is this deep, talented field. Regina will have her hands full, Regina will have her hands full with this talented field.
That's right, and that talented field led by Nicole Teeter, who's been a surprise this year, Larry, and she has such versatility. I saw her run the 4x400 meters anchor leg at Penn Relays against Marion Jones. She actually held off a strong charge from the Jamaican team to bring her B team, USA B team, home in second. Ran a very impressive 52 seconds.
There is no rabbit for this race. Very often in Grand Prix events of this caliber, there is a rabbit. The athlete said, no, we're fine. We think we'll set a very solid pace.
Well, from my understanding, Larry, without them having a rabbit, this should slow the pace down a little bit. Usually the athletes in the 15 will want a rabbit to bring them through in a predicted time. This will slow that pace down a little bit, which I think will play to the favor of Teeter. She's got that 400-meter speed, but also with Regina being a great kicker and relying on her kick, this will, I think, set up a pretty good matchup at the end of this race.
I caught up with Nicole Teeter the other day and chatted with her about this event, which she claims is really quite new to her.
It's intriguing to me. I don't know a lot about the event, and I haven't run it enough to know exactly how, I fit into that event. It's fun, definitely. It's tough. But I feel like I have a long way to go in that event.
Well, she may have a long way to go in the event, but she has the fastest time by an American, 4:09 and change this year, just a hair off the fastest time run in the world, set by Judith Varga of Hungary. Now, the first lap has been very slow, and you were right, Michael. This thing has turned tactical early on, and it plays into the kicker's hands. 72.7 seconds for the first 400 meters. Jacobs on the inside in the white top, and that is Madria Hyman of Jamaica, who has run well this year. She won earlier the Grand Prix meet in Brussels at 1,500, in Brazil at 1,500 meters. She is from Jamaica. She is right beside Jacobs. Sherry Kanat in the blonde ponytail in the back is running in third place. Teeter on the inside of the top four.
Well, I think that, Regina Jacobs is trying to run a little bit. She's not used to running in the front. I think that Regina usually hangs around in the back a little bit, but usually she doesn't have a 52-second 400-meter runner in the race to be concerned about either. So I think that part of her strategy is to make sure that she is in the front when this race gets down to the end, because she knows that there's going to be a very strong race coming down this home stretch between herself and Nicole Teeter if everything plays out correctly.
It continues to be in the white top on the inside. That's Regina Jacobs on the three-time Olympian. Hyman on her outside, directly behind her. That looks to be Diane Cummings. Right now, 2:08. The pace is slowed down even more, and now I see them start to move in the backstretch. This is going to be a fast last lap and a half.
It is, and Diane Cummings from Canada last year had a breakthrough year, ranked 6th in the world in the 800 and ran 4:05 for 1,500. So she's a force to be reckoned with as well. Now you see Sarah Schwald, I believe, coming up on the outside.
That is Sarah Schwald, who's run very well in international competition in Europe, training up with Peter Tagan and Susie Faber up in Wisconsin. The pace quickening now. A lap and a quarter to go. Has Regina Jacobs got the usual sprint finish that she has? Will Nicole Teeter be able to show everybody her talent at 800 meters as she set the American indoor record? And she is right now trailing by 2 steps the rest of the pack. It continues to be Jacobs and Hyman and Schwab up there. Nicole Teeter moving up on the outside, getting in position to try and strike down the back stretch. Coming up to 3/4 of a mile. The 1,200 meters hit in 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And there goes the sprint down the back stretch. That is Nicole Teeter who has taken the lead. On the inside, going after her there in the white top is Regina Jacobs. Americans are 1-2 right here. 200 meters to go.
This tells you that Nicole Teeter is very, very confident right now. Normally with a kick like she has and running against someone with a kick like Regina Jacobs, you would wait till 100 meters to go. She started her kick with 250 meters to go, and she's not coming back.
The 2:05 high school 800-meter runner finally blossoming at 28 years of age, tearing down the home stretch. She's leading now by 20 yards over everybody. 23 yards. Nicole Teeter pulling away and decimating this field. Regina Jacobs will get up for second. Sarah Schwab and Madria Hyman in a photo finish for third.
And you see the time.
Great strategy by Nicole Teeter. She obviously knew what she was doing. She waited and hung around for about till 300 meters to go. Let Regina Jacobs set the pace for the race. The time not that impressive, but still a great race and a great strategy by Nicole Teeter.
4 minutes, 12.93 seconds for Teeter, and she's 3 seconds plus off what she had done earlier this year, but a very tactical race. And she was well under 60 seconds for her last lap. You see her begin to move in the backstretch and take command.
It looks like she obviously had a plan, because at 300 meters, she completely started to separate herself completely from the pack. Here you see her separating and not coming back. Regina Jacobs at this point, I believe, knows that there is no way that I'm going to be able to catch her, and she obviously saw the confidence that Nicole Teeter had by taking off with 300 meters to go.
Well, this race for Nicole Teeter was a wow for everybody concerned to see what she can do during the rest of the season 2002. Coming up, the men's 100 meters. There you see Jacobs. Madria Hyman winds up in third place from Jamaica. We'll have 5 athletes who can run the men's 100 meters when we come back. In the football 40, these guys can average 4.1 seconds.
If you only read the front page of the newspaper or watched the first 5 minutes of the network news, you might wonder if you have to reconfigure DNA or hit 74 home runs to make a difference. What about a woman who actually keeps her 24-hour diner open 24 hours a day? What about someone who does something better than they did yesterday? Even if you don't make headlines, can you make progress every day?
Imagine what you would do with an extra $100 a day. Well, if you sign for your purchases whenever you use your Visa check card, you could turn fantasy into reality. Because each time you sign, you'll be entered to win $100 a day for a whole year. Imagine that. The Visa check card. It's everywhere you want to be.
Well, back in 1975, you know what the fun. Like back in the day, Lord, I like the way y'all play. We're gonna funk, everybody. You are the future to the funk. It's your future.
Steve Prefontaine helped change amateur sports in America forever. His passion, drive, and charisma were something to witness. His tragic death in 1975 actually spurred the changes he sought in life. The Prefontaine Classic epitomizes the goals and achievements of Steve Prefontaine as world-class athletes, Olympic and world champions, have descended on Hayward Field at the campus of the University of Oregon to see the greatest athletes in track and field in the world. Let the fun and games begin. Welcome everyone to a sold-out Hayward Field. Over 13,000 track and field enthusiasts here to see the very, very best of track and field. I'm Larry Ross, and my pleasure to be your host again for this world-class track and field event. I did a little math and found a total of 45 athletes, men and women, that are here in Eugene, Oregon, that have won world or Olympic championship gold, silver, or bronze medals. A truly incredible testimony to this great, great event. We're pleased to be joined here in the booth by Michael Johnson. And Michael, some of the sprints are truly loaded, led by Miss Marion Jones.
That's right, Larry. And Marion said she wants to get back to the form that helped her run 10.6 in 1998. She's going to be here running today. I think that ordinarily she would take a little bit of time off and take it easy this year, but I think that after losing the 100-meter world championship last year, I think that she's ready to reestablish her dominance, and that's where she feels most comfortable being dominant.
Gail Devers, now 35 years young and running as well as ever in past years, is back to really run well here in the hurdles, and she says this is going to be a great year for her.
I think that Gail Devers is far underrated as far as her abilities. You're talking about a double 100-meter Olympic champion, hurdle world champion, but I think that she's just a joy to watch. She will have her hands full today with a young group of hurdlers led by Anjanette Kirkland, the surprise world champion from last year.
I had a chance to catch up with earlier Tim Montgomery, and I talked with him yesterday, and I was impressed with how much he said this Prefontaine is important to him for success this year.
I was prepared for this race right here just like I prepared for trials, thinking that Maurice Green was going to be here. So the grounds for Sunday it's the same grounds I'm taking towards the Olympic Games, World Championships. This race right here is the race.
Tim is obviously disappointed that Maurice Green is pulled out of this race and their last meeting that they were supposed to race in Doha, but he is obviously also focused on these younger guys who have been running very early at the beginning of the season, 5 of whom are in this race. There are 5 of the 8 guys this year in this race today have run under 10 seconds.
We're pleased to be joined in the booth by Bob Kennedy, the American record holder at 5,000 meters. Bob, welcome. And certainly we'll have great distance running to talk about, led by Hisham El Garouj.
Absolutely, Larry. The marquee distance event this year is the Bowerman Mile. The marquee athlete, Moroccan Hisham El Garouj. He's accomplished almost everything there is to accomplish in his discipline. Both world records, 3-time world champion. He left Eugene last year with a 3:49 mile, the fastest ever on U.S. soil.
Let's go down and join the 4th member of our broadcast team who will be bringing interviews and field events down trackside, Dwight Stones.
Well, gentlemen, the Pre-Classic is always the best domestic outdoor meet of the season, and 2002 is no different. Meet director Tom Jordan has assembled what might be his best ever fields on the track, as well as in the jumps and throws here on the infield. We'll start with Miss All Galaxy in the women's pole vault, Stacy Dragila. She's the Olympic champion, twice world champion, and has set the world record so many times I can't even count it. She will lead a field of 15-foot only performers in the women's pole vault. She says she's ready for 16 feet at any time, loves Hayward Field. In the men's shot put, if you missed Portland last week, you missed a heck of a performance. The second best series ever in the men's shot put, second only to the world record performance of Randy Barnes 12 years ago. Adam Nelson led the charge. The usual suspects will return to Hayward Field today. They will be shooting for the 28-year-old meet record of former world record holder Al Feuerbach. He was my teammate in 1974. It'll be a bittersweet moment to see that record finally go. And then the men's pole vault, an interesting scenario developing. Jeff Hartwig, the American indoor and outdoor record holder, he set that indoor record 3 times this winter in 3 weeks. However, he's had some terrible luck the last 3 international championship seasons. Did not make the final at the World Champs in 1999 and did not make the U.S. team for the Olympics in 2000, nor last year for the World Championships. Being as it's not a World Championship year, expect Hartwig to possibly take jumps at Sergei Bubka's venerable world record. Gentlemen, back up to you for the men's 100.
Thank you, Dwight. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the ultimate drag race coming up. As you will see, a host of athletes who have run under 10 seconds, a terrific barrier to try and achieve. And there you see the Prefontaine record set by Kobe Miller a couple of years ago, along with Maurice Green's all-time best record. And that is a tremendous time to achieve, 9.79 seconds. There is a wind that is blowing at a quarterly angle behind these athletes. And there you see a man ranked number 7 in the world last year. That is Aziz Sakari from Ghana.
That's J.J. Johnson. I saw him last year run 19.88 and shocked the world. He has followed up with that and ran 9.95 earlier this year at Mount Sac Relays. He's coached by Dennis Mitchell. Surely Dennis will have him in shape.
And there next to him is from the islands of St. Kitts and Nevis. That is Kim Collins, a graduate of TCU. He's actually finishing up, got a few more hours to go down at TCU. And he had a great year last year, a World Championship finalist.
And of course, there's Tim Montgomery, the favorite for this race, ranked number 2 in the world last year, finished second behind Maurice Green at the World Championships and pushed him all the way to the finish. Tim Montgomery has a lot of respect for Maurice Green, but he has said he wants to take his world record away from him, and he wants to do that this year. He's been very disappointed that Maurice Green hasn't been in the last couple of races, but he is ready.
Well, ever the clown, there is Bernard Williams, 24 years of age and a bronze medalist at the 100 meters at the 2001 World Championships. We'll see if he's smiling at the end of the race.
Kobe Miller will have something to say about that, and I'm sure at this point he's got his glasses on, as you can see, trying to block out Bernard Williams probably instead of the sun rays. But Kobe Miller's running very well this year. He's another one of the ones who has gone under 10 seconds. He ran 9.98, which equaled his personal best. He ran that last week in Portland right down the road and won in the Adidas meet.
And there's John Drummond, now 33 years of age. He finished second earlier in Qatar last week and has an Olympic gold medal from the relay in Sydney. Has Drummond. He'll be in lane 7.
This is Christopher Williams from Jamaica, silver medalist in the 200 last year at the 2001 Edmonton World Championships. He's run 10.05 in the 100 meters. That's pretty slow for this field. It's fast for the rest of us, but it's pretty slow for this field.
Well, observing Maurice Green. And you might ask, and it's fair to say, why is he not here? Well, he switched contracts from Nike to Adidas, and frankly, they didn't have appearance money now that he was with Nike to be able to offer him enough money to come to the meet. So he said, I love the atmosphere. I want to come up here and watch this great Prefontaine Classic and see what my competition looks like. So he is here in Eugene.
Let's try the race once again.
2 false starts have already occurred, both by John Drummond in lane 7. A great starter in his own right. He is gone. The athletes are back in the block. Tim Montgomery in lane 4, Kobe Miller in 6 have great starts. Both have worked hard on getting out of the blocks well. Let's see what happens. 7 men in the field. And it's a fair start. Tim Collins gets out well. So does Montgomery in lane 4. It's Montgomery by the slightest margin. Here comes Collins. It is Collins and Montgomery. Tim Montgomery gets the victory, unofficially 9.97 seconds.
Great race by Kim Collins to the left of Tim Montgomery. He was actually leading the race early on at 50 meters. He was actually leading Tim Montgomery. Great job by Tim Montgomery holding his composure.
The winner is Tim Montgomery by 1/100th of a second over Kim Collins. Here they come out again.
Kim Collins is running a great race right here, actually leading. But look at Tim Montgomery holding his composure. You see that he never starts to grimace. That's what a champion does. He knows I can still win this race. It's 60 meters into it, and I'm losing, but I can still win this race.
Watch Montgomery. He's got the best top-end speed possibly in the world. Certainly as good as virtually anybody.
He really does, and he's so light on his feet. He's probably, you know, only about 153, 154 pounds. He's very light on his feet, and that's what you need in 100 meters. It's a short sprint. Technicality is everything. He's technically sound. Great race by Tim Montgomery holding his composure.
My apologies to Kim Collins. I thought that he was back in 3rd place. He winds up 2nd, and the winner is Tim Montgomery. The wind over the allowable limit, and the time, 9.97 seconds.
Got him.
Kobe Miller winds up 4th. Kim Collins gets 2nd. Bernard Williams takes the 3rd. Let's go down to Dwight Stones.
All right, Larry, I know that the false starts had to bother you a little bit, but you looked a little tentative right around 30, 40 meters, and then you realized, hey, I got to win this race.
Yeah, the false starts kind of like got me stuck in the blocks due to he was holding for a very long time. And then when I got out, the wind was kind of like pushing me forward. So when I was driving, I was stumbling. So when I came up, I said, oh, I got to win this race, like you said. And I won, and that's what I came out to do today.
Well, normally there's a tailwind at this race. These times are usually wind-aided. This is the first time I can remember many years that it wasn't. Did that take you out of your game plan a little bit when everybody kind of came out together and you realized, hey, I got to change my race plan now?
Not really. I'm just putting everything together in my race. I learned different parts. Like I said, the false starts kind of like played a little part. But as a champion, you got to bring these kind of races through. And Kim Collins was a little ready.
Yeah, no question. Congratulations on another time after under 10 seconds.
Thank you.
The 2002 Prefontaine Classic is brought to you by NikeRunning.com and by Visa, preferred card of the USA Track and Field Team. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
What's up, bro? Train a lizard.
Right.
Sweet.
Hey. Hi. Tastes great. Yeah. Feels even better. Wow.
Man, I think you're trying too hard. So be yourself.
Tomorrow on ESPN. At 4, Memorial Day Baseball with the Diamondbacks Giants. At 7, the conference finals features the Avalanche and Red Wings in Game 5, followed by Rockies Padres. On the Dukes, more baseball, starting at 1 with the Marlins taking on the Mets, followed by the Cardinals versus the Astros. Later at 8, the Yankees battle the White Sox. On ESPN Classic at 8, Sports Century profiles Red Sox legend Ted Williams, followed by Kirby Puckett's game-winning homer in the 11th. And catch ESPN News anytime for scores and updates.
Beverly.
ever missed a show you'd been waiting to see? Then check out Channel Guide magazine. Sure, the on-screen guide's great, but sometimes I miss half the show just scrolling to find it. Channel Guide gives me listings for everything that's on cable for the entire month. I can use it with the on-screen guide or by itself. But when I want to find out what's on without a lot of hassle, I grab my Channel Guide magazine.
Call today and order Channel Guide magazine and receive your first issue absolutely free.
Hey, Channel Guide magazine's got everything you need.
Hey folks, it's race season again, so race on down to Union Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Come get yourself the all-new 2002 Ram Quad Cab pickup truck. It's big enough for the whole crew, 4 full-size doors. Hey, discounts up to $5,500. Hey, and with a warranty like this, if you do have to make a pit stop, it's covered by Dodge. Hey folks, bring your crew down to see my crew and drive home in your new Dodge Ram pickup truck from Union Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Let's get lunch. Hey, I got shotgun. You had it yesterday. I called it first. Who cares? It's mine.
It might be Montreal for hockey or Fenway Park for baseball, but this is track heaven for the enthusiasts, and we caught up with some of the athletes about their thoughts on this place.
I couldn't believe how many people actually came to the meet and knew what good marks were and what you were trying to obtain, and people just clapping you down the runway or around the track.
It's possibly the greatest place to compete in this country because of the fans. They know what good performances are. They expect great performances because they're used to them.
The fans have always been great, and I always want to come here and put on a great performance for them.
I love that meet. It's a magical meet to me. I think magical things happen.
You just step out there and you know that it's just going to be a great atmosphere to compete in front of.
And this truly is a terrific place. They are standing all over it. They are standing all over this place if you haven't got a seat. Women's 400 meters. The runners are down on the track. There's the Prefontaine record set by the wonderful, amazing Kathy Freeman, who is one of the great stars of the Olympics in Sydney. And there you see the lane assignments. And Gerald Miles Clark will have her hands full with a woman she battled last week who's living up in Canada in Calgary, Kaltuma Najina, who was a finalist at the Edmonton Games in the women's 400 was Najina. And there is Gerald, and she's running really well here still. I mean, this woman now is getting a little long in the tooth for great speed, but she's running exceptionally well, Michael.
Yeah, 35 years old. She is a little bit older now, and one of the, probably the oldest 400-meter runner out there at this point. But Najina Kaltuma last year had a breakthrough year. She finished at the World Championships fifth, but this year she's doing even better. She has built off of that. She beat Joe Miles Clark last week in Portland. She also beat Michelle Collins, who's in this field a couple of weeks ago, and a month ago in Osaka.
Here's what happened. It was Najina who was running so well, and she was able to hold off the great strength of a woman who's great at 800 meters, Gerald Miles Clark. Najina's an amazing story from the country of Chad. At 18 years of age, she had only run a 60-second quarter and got an IOC scholarship to develop her ability. This is a great high school young star.
Sonia Richards, this is impressive. 17 years old. She just received her U.S. citizenship. She's originally from Jamaica. She ran, Larry, indoors at the youth championships, at the high school championships. Her 400-meter time was faster than the NCAA champion and the U.S. champion. She also won the 100, 200, and 400 last week at the Florida State High School Championship.
That's just amazing. Najina's in lane 5. Gerald Miles Clark is outside of her. She can't see her. She is in lane 6. They will run lanes the entire way. Susie Ann Reed is out in the lead, and she is out in lane 7, and she is, as she often does, going out extremely hard, is Susie Ann Reed.
Well,
Gerald Miles Clark holding on well.
Look at Sonia Richards, very impressive in the inside lane for a 17-year-old, taking it out very aggressively.
And she is right now, very possibly, Michael, got the lead, has Richards. They've got 150 meters to go as they head for home and around the turn. They have about 130 meters now to go. Michelle Collins pressing things. She is in lane 4, is Collins. Najina's back in 5. Here comes Gerald Miles Clark, but it's right now Michelle Collins holding up well. Sonia Richards is going to get second. It is going to be Collins first, the high school 17-year-old from St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Fort Lauderdale gets up and defeats a truly world-class field for second place.
a very good field. Michelle Collins, a very good race, but most impressive, the 17-year-old. I can guarantee you, Larry, that most of those girls in that race are extremely embarrassed to be beaten by a high schooler. Now, she's a good high schooler, but nonetheless, she's a high schooler. And to get beaten by a high schooler is not a good, can't be a good feeling.
Well, you know, she ran extremely well. And this woman is a native of Jamaica, now has her U.S. citizenship. The young lady who is in second place right now, just 17, Michelle Collins, runs a terrific race and nails down the victory here at Prefontaine.
And 3/4, 4 meters, 72.
And they're taking her victory lap as Michelle Collins with flowers. And something that was begun over 30 years ago here at Haywood Field. And there you see, I talked about everybody standing and waving. And a wonderful crowd acknowledges everybody's great efforts. Excellent time for Michelle Collins, 50.87 1/100ths of a second. And there is Richards running just over 51 seconds, not far off the U.S. high school record. When we come back, it'll be Miss Gail Devers, and she has shown the world her ability on a world-class stage for over 14 years.
Sometimes the highly developed male will communicate via hand signals. We have the next game of billiards. Spot on. Would you care for another rolling rock? A rock would be splendid.
You want to play doubles?
Yeah, sure. Correction, make that 4 rocks. Well played. I'm excited. Me too.
Rolling Rock beer. Grab a rock.
First, ESPN brought you the Australian Open. Now watch the year's second Grand Slam, the 2002 French Open. See the world's best players compete beginning Monday on ESPN and ESPN2.
The seesaw battle for the Western Conference continues and now moves back to Detroit. In Game 4, Sakic and Drury scored late to clinch victory. Now Game 5, Avs Red Wings, 7 p.m. tomorrow on ESPN.
He held at one time all 7 American records, from the 2,000 meters all the way up to the 6.2-mile distance that is 10,000 meters. No one who ever saw him run will ever forget it. He was a ferocious competitor and the first athlete Nike chose to represent the company. He didn't wait for the world to change. He helped change it himself. Someone once said that it matters not how a man dies, but how that person has lived. Prefontaine took some matters into his own hands. And there you see the poster from this year. That is the first time he ever took a victory lap at Haywood Field while attending the University of Oregon. And that tradition has carried on in international track and field since he started it. And there are his parents who came over from Coos Bay, Oregon to be part of this wonderful, wonderful international track. The Verizon Women's 100 meters. The athletes are down on the track, the 100-meter hurdles. There you see the record of Prefontaine by Gail Devers, and Devers' American record set 2 years ago at the U.S. Olympic Trials. And the top 3 hurdlers, women's hurdlers, are in the race that were ranked 1, 2, 3 in the world last year. And there you see Devers, who was number 1. She's in lane 4. Anjanette Kirkland in 2. She was ranked number 2. She's in lane 3. Jenny Adams beside her was ranked number 3.
Gail Devers, even though she didn't win the World Championships last year, was still ranked number 1 in the world. Everyone in this race is shooting for her because she's a legend. She is the best 100-meter hurdler in the U.S., in the history of the U.S. She's one of the best of all time in the world. Anjanette Kirkland, a surprise winner last year out of lane 8, out of lane 1, winning the World Championship. She won the Indoor World Championships out of lane 8 last year. She's in lane 3.
Devers gets an explosive start. Let's see what happens in this race. That's Devers. And Devers has a slight lead already. Kirkland off to her left. Jenny Adams back there in lane 2. And it is Devers all the way. Devers right now holding off the rest of the field. And it is Gail Devers getting first. Maisha McKelvey may wind up second, and a blanket finish goes for third. The time, we'll have to wait and see if it's wind assisted. It may well be. 12.29 seconds would break the American record, but I believe that wind will prove to be too strong, and it will be disallowed as a record. Maisha McKelvey will get second, and Lucina Golding from Jamaica looks like she winds up third. Jenny Adams from the United States will wind up fourth. The wind, 2.7 meters per second over the allowable limit.
Look at Gail Devers. She is so fast between the hurdles. Look how much faster she is than Anjanette Kirkland. That's because she's an Olympic champion 2 times in the 100 meters open. She's got an amazing start. This tells you what kind of shape she's in right now. Anjanette Kirkland, not quite in quite as good a shape as she wants to be in later on in the summer, but Gail Devers right here, so fast between the hurdles. Those hurdles come up very fast, but she can handle it.
Can she ever? And the speed makes the difference. She said one thing she has to worry about is she gets too close to the hurdles the further the race goes on because of her speed. Gail Devers wins the women's 100-meter hurdles. Let's get down to Dwight Stone.
All right, Larry. Gail, you know always at the Prefontaine meet there's going to be wind, and when you run a fast time, you always got to check the wind. You didn't seem to have too much trouble getting too close to the hurdles running 12:29.
It felt good. I mean, I have to give thanks to God because this has been an iffy year for me. Training by myself is hard, but I'm very grateful, very thankful. I always come here and make this my first race because Prefontaine fans are the best. And they get you excited. They want, they make you want to run. So God's favor, definitely on top.
You have debuted so well so many times here, and you're saying that you're completely healthy the first time in a lot of years. You're taking it meet by meet. When you run this kind of a time, do you think about Athens 2 years from now?
No, I'm still going meet by meet. Meet by meet, but, I said, if you guys see me on the line in 2004, I'm going to have the world behind me because so many people have sent mail and letters telling me they want me to go, and it's by the grace of God. I asked him to lead me and guide me, and we'll see what happens.
Another great performance, Gail. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Larry?
Congratulations to Gail Devers. Coming up next, 5 of the 10 best 110-meter men's high hurdlers in the world take to the track. The hurdles are on the track. Let's take a look at the men next.
Every road is different, but the question's the same. What's in your heart, your head, and your shoes?
Dr. Scholl's Advantage Sport insoles improve stability and recycle energy for that extra edge. Dr. Scholl.
Look, feel, do better.
Mr. Dumbass, I can bring a lot to Dumbass and Dumbass. I'm a go-getter. Dumbass material all the way. So, am I your man, Mr. Dumbass?
The name is Dumas.
That's pretty thick-headed, but nothing compared to the rich, thick, frosty mug taste of an A&W root beer. With A&W, it's good to be thick-headed.
What a dumbass.
Want to make your car look like new again? Well, now you can with Color Cure Color Enriching Car Polish from Turtle Wax. Color Cure's breakthrough formula masks superficial scratches and swirl marks while cleaning, shining, and protecting all in one simple application. For deeper scratches, use the patented chipstick. Color Cure even heals old neglected finishes, removing years of oxidation. Color Cure is available in 7 popular colors. Each works for a wide range of shades. Color Cure, a showroom-like finish that's as easy as waxing your car.
around here. Sometimes I walk, sometimes I run, and sometimes I dance.
New massaging gel insoles give you up to 2 times more cushioning than other gel insoles. Dr. Scholl.
Look, feel, do better.
Mark your calendars, everyone, for June 23rd at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 Pacific, for the U.S. National Outdoor Championships on ESPN2 from Stanford, California. The men's 110-meter hurdles, and 5 of the top 10 in the world are here on the track. 10 hurdles, 3.5 feet high. If you're 6 feet tall, it comes up to about your 3rd rib. And there you see the American record, which is held by 2 people, including one in the race, Alan Johnson. The Prefontaine record tied also. The lane assignments, and this is a stacked deck, folks. There you see Larry Wade, who was ranked right up there among the best in the world last year. He is in lane 3. Alan Johnson, 3-time world champion and Olympic champion, is in 4. And a former Olympic silver medalist in Atlanta, Mark Creer, is in 6, among others.
Well, Alan Johnson says that this year is a year that he feels like he finally realizes that time is running out at 31 years old for him to break that world record that he has come so close to several times. He, Alan has often had a reputation for not really having that killer instinct, and I think that after losing, not winning at the Olympics in 2000, I think that he came back last year with a killer instinct, won the world championships, and has now reestablished himself as one of the best.
And there you see Mark Creer, who is a reverend these days and is qualified by schooling, and says, I'm serious, and I've never been happier. Had a baby born just a couple of months ago, and he said, I'm more focused than I've ever been. He sounds a lot like what Alan Johnson is saying.
Yeah, and with both of these guys being Olympic medalists and being 2 of the greatest hurdlers of all time, now both saying they're refocused and ready to go. We should see some amazing times this year and some amazing competition between the 2 of them.
Terrence Trammell, who could win this, is in lane 2. This is his first hurdles race of the year. Alan Johnson's in 4. Creer is in lane 6, lane 1 to the right of the camera. And they're out pretty well. In lane 4, that is Alan Johnson with the slightest of leads. On his inside is Larry Wade. It is Wade moving well. And inside of him is Trammell. It is Wade and Trammell. And here comes Johnson, who looks like he gets up maybe for the victory, coming from behind some guys who have great raw speed. Wow, Michael.
Great race by Alan Johnson, but Terrence Trammell over 2 lanes over to Alan's left ran a very clean race and a very quiet race over there, and I don't think Alan Johnson knew he was there. I think that he was focusing more so on Larry Wade, who was just immediately to his left. Good start by Alan Johnson. Crashes the first hurdle. He's known for crashing hurdles, but he can handle it. He's not so small so that he can't handle that. Terrence Trammell, though, running a pretty clean race over on the right side of the screen.
And here at the Nike Prefontaine Classic, getting up for the victory, coming from behind is Alan Johnson, 13.16 seconds. He wins by 1/100th of a second over Terrence Trammell with a legal win. That is an outstanding early season time. There you see Johnson. Alan has told me he's never been in this good a shape in late May in any of the years he's competed on the world scene. And he beats a star-studded field, including his training mate, Terrence Trammell, who gets 2nd. And Larry Wade gets 3rd, who was ranked, Wade was, number 3 in the world last year. The women's 3,000 meters is underway. Anna Brzezinska of Poland, a 4-time world championship 1,500-meter finalist, is paid to rabbit this race. And she is pulling Sonia O'Sullivan along. That's O'Sullivan in 2nd place. Bob Kennedy joins me. And a 69-second pace per lap is on order, Bob.
It is. 69 seconds will put them under 8:40 for the race, which would be a Prefontaine meet record. Quite a quick pace this early in the season.
Sonia O'Sullivan, who has the Prefontaine record, wears bib number 111, now 32 years of age, just had her 2nd child, coming back into fitness. And the child was born just 5 months ago. And we've got top Ethiopians here. Marla Runyon from Eugene, Oregon, and a finalist in Sydney is also up there, and she is in the race. We'll try and pick her out for you here. Workesh Kidani from Ethiopia is in 3rd place.
68 seconds for the first 400 meters.
The pace right on based on 200 meters, 69 seconds. Brzezinska is doing her job. They're running about a 4:39-mile pace. When we come back, we'll have the conclusion of the women's 3,000-meter race.
Sonia O'Sullivan.
Foot action? Foot action.
The new Reebok Super 5. Get them now, exclusively at Foot Action. The streak starts here.
Warning. This movie is so exhilarating. It can only be seen in IMAX theaters and other large format cinemas.
Now, the ultimate movie with the ultimate thrill is on the ultimate big screen. ESPN's Ultimate X.
This guy's crazy.
Rated PG, now playing at IMAX theaters and large format cinemas. Check local listings. The world's great sporting event returns. 32 countries. One goal. The FIFA World Cup, France, Senegal. Friday morning at 7:25. Live on ESPN.
Your comfort is important. So is how comfortable you feel with a company that supplies and installs your heating and air conditioning system. When you need service, you want experienced professionals nearby. If you're in Woodruff, Lineman, Inman, Spartanburg, or anywhere in between, Waldrop Heating and Air is only minutes away. It's nice to know you have someone close to home you can count on for comfort.
Excuse me, I heard there's a car dealer in Union that offers the best prices in the upstate. Do you know who he is?
Nobody.
You know, I heard he offered the best deals around. Do you know anybody who does that?
Nobody.
Good afternoon, Chip.
Chip, can you tell this lady where she can find nobody?
Nobody. Beats me.
Ferguson Chevrolet Buick Pontiac in Union, because nobody does it better.
Welcome back, everyone. Sonia O'Sullivan has 3 laps to go, and she is leading 2 very talented young Ethiopians. In second place, just 20 years of age, Workness Kidani. In third place is Tirinish Dibaba, who is just 17 years of age. Dibaba is 17 in third place, and she is a cousin of world champion Durant Tutulu. It seems to run in the family, and they have 2.5 laps to go. The mile was passed in 4 minutes and 37 seconds by Sonia O'Sullivan. Back in the pack in 4th place, close by, is Marla Runyon from right here in Eugene, Oregon.
Larry, this is shaping up really the way we expect it to. These 4 runners are going to be the front runners. Actually, 3 of them, Sonia O'Sullivan, the leader, the young Ethiopian in the white T-shirt, and Marla Runyon have excellent leg speed, so it should be an exciting finish.
Dibaba and Runyon.
They're running about 4 minutes and 40 seconds a mile. That's amazing. Sonia O'Sullivan, the young Irish, well, she's 32 years old now. She's still young. Was unbeatable in the mid-90s with excellent leg speed, so this would be an exciting finish.
We have 2 laps to go, and O'Sullivan, the silver medalist at the 2000 Olympics at 5,000 meters. And you talk about talent. Sometimes in Ethiopia, you're not sure whether the teenagers are really 17, 18, or 19. The fact is, they're great at a very young age when someone might be in either high school or college. And you have a 20-year-old in second place and a 17-year-old in third. Marla Runyon in fourth. She has suffered all her life from Stargardt's disease. Her vision is 2300. She is legally blind, but she can see, and she can make out the white lines. And she says, I'm fine to compete at this level all the time in any type of race. And she is now edging her way up into third place.
With 600 meters to go.
Sonia O'Sullivan, this is really tough out here. She's got a little under 600 meters to go, and when you're in the lead, mentally it's a lot more challenging. She's a tough athlete, but the athletes behind her have a slight advantage at this point.
Bob, you were known as somebody who didn't have a lot of leg speed. Did you take the lead because you felt you had to, or did you like it?
Well, I didn't have as much leg speed as some of the other finishers around me, and you can string a leg speed out of someone if you go from long enough out.
And that's what you did so successfully This woman has led many of her races. I'm talking about Sonia O'Sullivan with 1 to go, and she has great sprint speed even from the front. It continues to be O'Sullivan setting the pace. Kidane, who lacks raw sprint speed, is in second. Marla Runyon moving up so that she is getting on the shoulder right now in second place of Sonia O'Sullivan. We have 300 meters to go. 2 straightaways and a turn. The Ethiopians in blue are holding on well. Let's see when Runyon and Sullivan start to try and make their move. Here comes Dibaba. Up there, she has the white T-shirt on underneath. She's got great speed.
Sonia's been doing a lot of base work in the mountains outside of San Diego. She's really swinging it out down the backstretch. It'll be interesting to see what kind of speed she has in her legs at this early point in the season.
Here comes O'Sullivan. Marla Runyon holding on well with excellent 800-meter speed. There's Runyon down the home stretch there, about to come. 100 meters to go. It is Runyon on the outside. Sonia O'Sullivan on the inside. Marla Runyon and O'Sullivan stride for stride. Marla Runyon, to the thunderous applause of this tremendous crowd, wins over Sonia O'Sullivan. A photo finish for third. A tremendous performance by both women. Remember, O'Sullivan had a child in December. The last lap covered in 62 seconds, and they really didn't start hauling till they had 300 meters to go. What a big moment from Marla Runyon.
Just off the Hayward Field record, Larry. What an amazing race for those 2 young women, and to lead from most of the race.
It is the fastest time in the world by 7 seconds this year. Marla Runyon wins. Here's the kick the last 100 meters.
Sonia's really driving from 200 meters out. She's trying to lose the speed of the rest of the finishers. Marla really held her composure, kept her form down the straightaway, and eased past Sonia.
You know, she's had great speed as a heptathlete. She showed her talents at 800 meters, and that type of sprint speed pays dividends in a sprint finish at this caliber of talented level. Marla Runyon runs the fastest time easily in the world this year, edging out Sonia O'Sullivan. Worknesh Kidane from Ethiopia winds up third. Well, the women's discus and the glamour event this season, the men's shot put of all things have been going on. Let's get down on the field for a report from Dwight Stone.
In the women's discus, this is 25-year-old former University of Washington Husky Aretha Hill, 1996 Olympian, second at the 99 Pan Am Games. And in her second throw, she takes advantage of the winds here at Hayward Field, all the way up to 208 feet, 3 inches. Her best throw since 1998, and she takes the measure of a good field. Beatrice Faumina of New Zealand, the former world champion, second. Susie Powell continuing to struggle after setting that American record last month. Now, last week we had a great shot put competition in Portland. This is John Godina, 3-time world champion, twice Olympic medalist. In his 6th and final throw, he gets out to 71, 10 3/4. Only good enough for third here at the Pre-Classic. Adam Nelson in the ring, silver medalist in Sydney, silver medalist last summer at the World Championships, and on his second throw, he gets out to 72 feet, 1/4 inch. The 26-year-old, that was good enough for second place, but the day belonged to 34-year-old Kevin Toth. Twice already he had set lifetime best, and on this throw, the 4th of the competition, 72, 9 3/4. 3 times he's barely missed making the Olympic team. Twice he's been on the World Championship team, and he takes a measure of the youngsters, 72, 9 3/4 for Toth. Nelson Godina, second, third. I talked to them right after the competition. Shot put history was made last week, broken this week. 3 men over 71 feet in Portland last week. Today, 3 men over 71.10, led by this man, 34-year-old Kevin Toth. 3 personal bests in 1 competition, all of his throws over 69 feet. What is with you and this resurgence of throws in these last few weeks?
Well, some real short back surgery last year. Everything's clicking this year. These 2 guys, John Godina and Adam Nelson, 2 of the best throwers the 2 best throwers in the world. I'm just, this is shot put town now. This is not only track town, this is shot put town. These people in Oregon are so knowledgeable and into the throws. They were onto us every throw, and it just kept raising the level every round.
All right, guys, I know you're going to light it up at the Nationals in a few weeks. Congratulations on a great series. When we return, the Dean of Quarter Milers in his farewell season, former world champion Antonio Pettigrew will gallop with a strong field in the men's 400 meters. Up next.
comes to issues facing your voice, data, or IP networks, why put up with 57 points of accountability when you can have one?
Verizon.
This race brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL, and the only card accepted at the Olympic Games. And the Visa Triple Crown. Almost forgot. We're also the official card of NASCAR. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Pizza, the staple of the American male. Oftentimes served dangerously hot.
Thanks. Okay.
To cool it, they use an age-old technique known as the reverse blow. The Rolling Rock continues the cooling process. Good.
Rolling Rock beer. Grab a rock.
This Friday, from Tom Clancy,
3 Russian nuclear scientists are missing.
there are 27,000 nuclear weapons.
A neo-fascist bought an A-bomb on the black market.
One
The bomb is in play!
is missing.
They think it might be the Russians.
What's the Russians?
Ben Affleck, Morgan Freeman.
You gotta get me through to the president.
Put it in your report.
If you shut me out, 25 million will be dead.
Hush him off. The Sum of All Fears, directed by Phil Robinson. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday in theaters everywhere.
It's America's #1 motorsports magazine, Stock Car Racing. And now you can get a free trial issue. Every month, get inside the world of stock car racing. Winston Cup, Busch Series, regional and local action, plus go behind the scenes with today's hottest teams. Call 1-800-803-7857 to get your free trial issue of Stock Car Racing and save 75% off the cover price. Call 1-800-803-7857 now.
The greatest track and field stars are here in Eugene, Oregon, led by the woman who was ranked #2 in the world last year, Marion Jones, top female in track and field. The #1 male last year, Hisham El Garouge, still to run the Bowerman Mile. And who was ranked #1 ahead of Marion last year? Pole vaulter American Stacy Dragila, who is competing here. Welcome back, everyone, to Golden Spike Tour 2002 for the Nike Prefontaine Classic. I'm Larry Rawson, along with Michael Johnson, Bob Kennedy, and Dwight Stones. We're happy you're with us for this outstanding event. Many of the greatest athletes in the world are here to perform. The men's 400 meters is up next. Michael Johnson beside me here. The field is terrific. There you see the Prefontaine record set back 7 years ago. And Michael, there's your American record and world record and every other type of record, Michael. What about this field? What do you think?
Well, Antonio Pettigrew, of course, has to be the class of the field. He's 34 years old, and he's a veteran. I was surprised last year that he didn't step up when everyone said that there was a huge void. But you've got guys like Alvin Harrison, who's an Olympic silver medalist. You've got Michael Blackwood from Jamaica, Michael McDonald from Jamaica, 2 400-meter hurdlers you see down there in lane 6 and 7. Felix Sanchez, the world champion in the 400-meter hurdles from last year, as well as Angelo Taylor, the Olympic gold medalist in the 400-meter hurdles.
Well, Pettigrew likes to run. If you're really a tremendous fan of sports, Silky Sullivan 25 years ago was a horse, and he'd get way behind the field and come back and win. This guy runs the same way. He lays off the early pace. He said, I'm trying to change this. My last year of competition, we'll see if he is able to do it. Pettigrew running from lane 4. Michael McDonald, who has got an Olympic bronze medalist on the 4x4 relay for Jamaica, is in lane 5. This is a terrific field. Angelo Taylor, keep an eye on him. He is out in lane 7. And it's a fair start. They will run lanes the entire way.
As you said, Larry, keep an eye on lane 6 and 7. That's Felix Sanchez in 6 and Angelo Taylor in 7. These two guys were 2 of the best 400-meter runners last year, and they're 400-meter hurdlers. They're both going out very fast right now, but also Alvin Harrison, who always takes it out fast, the Olympic silver medalist, down in lane 2 right now, winning the race.
Felix Sanchez out in lane 6 is pressing hard with everybody. Michael McDonald from Jamaica in lane 5 also. As they come around the turn and head for home, these guys are running almost flat out for 400 meters. And there they come powering down the stretch. And it continues to be Felix Sanchez running well. And here comes Angelo Taylor. Taylor pulling away. Angelo Taylor getting the victory. And it's close for second and third. That strength at 400-meter hurdles, those guys really do well down the home stretch, Michael. 44.85 one-hundredths of a second is the winning time.
And there's a lot of wind blowing down that backstretch. Maybe not in this race, but there has been all day. Angelo Taylor, great 400-meter hurdler. He's got such strength. You see him at the end here just powering past Felix Sanchez, who led the race most of the way, and he ends up beating them all by a couple of meters. But, you know, you got all of these great 400-meter runners in here, and two 400-meter hurdlers come out and take the race away from them. That's a sad state of affairs for our 400-meter runners.
Don't forget the log.
And there you see Angelo Taylor. And boy, he is almost as great at 400 meters as he is at the hurdle event. Michael Blackwood gets up and just edges Antonio Pettigrew for the second spot. Pettigrew winds up third in 45 and 14 one-hundredths of a second. And there you see, I talked you a treat. This is Marion as you've never seen her before. She starts for the freshman team at the University of North Carolina, and she had all kinds of moves as the starting guard of the NCAA championship team. This is a woman who is 5 feet 10 inches tall, and she, Michael, can dunk a basketball. How is that for talent? And here she is getting ready for her race. We'll be back for the women's Visa pole vault right after this.
Doing some checking up here, trying to keep you up.
Lance, what's the story?
Hey, Dan, sorry. Thought everybody left for the night.
Can I get you an energy bar? How about some water?
No, man, I'm okay.
You good?
Thanks.
All right.
He came from the tough logging seaport town of Coos Bay, Oregon, and was always looking for ways to prove himself. Running became his vehicle. A national high school record of 8 minutes and 41 seconds for 2 miles soon followed. His fiery, driven nature, coupled by his brilliant performances and maverick personality, put him on the cover of SI at 18 years of age. At 21, he missed an Olympic medal in the 5,000 meters by just steps and ran his last mile in 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Food stamps followed college. The AAU said athletes couldn't have dollars for their performances. His war with the system was on. On May 30th, 1975, the night of his last superb performance, his convertible hit the side of a road and flipped over. Free was crushed to death. 'Cause 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 'c life expands in relation to one's courage and contributions, and certainly he made tremendous strides in what he has accomplished here. His legacy still lives on. And his event, the men's 5,000 meters, has just gone off the mark. And this is a terrific, deep, talented, typical European race, Bob, that you've been in so often. It's deep and a lot of runners.
It is, and they have 3 pacemakers to set this up. They're going to try to run under 13 minutes and 5 seconds, which is just over 4 minutes and 10 seconds a mile, which is 62 or 63 seconds per lap, Larry.
And they look to be, based upon that first 200 meters, right on patch. And there you see Daniel Gachara from Kenya. He is one of the Rabbits leading. Brad Hauser, formerly of Stanford, is in second place. Martin Kano, one of the Rabbits, and the son of the great Kip Kano, is in third. And there you see the graphics right there showing you the Prefontaine record and Bob Kennedy's American record set back in Zurich 6 years ago. By the way, what is your schedule coming up here for you?
Well, I'm a little behind schedule because of some injuries, but I'm hoping to run the European circuit again this summer, July and August.
Well, we hope that things go well for you in the Golden League. We'll be watching for you on ESPN as we televise those events. 62.4 seconds, right on a 4-minute, 10-second mile. And there you see the pace being set by Gachara. Meb Kaplesky, Tim Bro, some of the top Americans in here. Great Britain's best guy, John Mayock. While we have a minute, let's go down to Dwight Stones for an update on the field events.
As we come down the main straightaway here now with 11 laps.
In the Visa women's pole vault, this is Mary Sauer. She won in Portland last week. Her first attempt at 14 feet 6 inches. She was the 2002 indoor national champion and a finalist at last year's World Championships in Edmonton, and 4th at the Olympic trials in 2000. She clears easily on her first attempt, but that would be as high as she would jump. This is all universe. Stacey Dragilo, Olympic champion, world record holder. Her third attempt at 15.5 3/4, over easily, and she sets a new Hayward Field and pre-classic record with that jump. Still the best technician in the event. She has done it all. Says she's ready to jump 16 feet this year. This was her first attempt at a new world record, 15.9 3/4. It was not to be today, but expect Dragila to break the 16-foot barrier sometime in 2002. She wins it here by almost a foot over Sauer and Mel Miller. Here's an event we don't see too often on the Golden Spike Tour, the men's high jump, and this was a good one. This is 6'9" Charles Klinger, formerly of Weber State. He won the NCAAs last year. Second attempt at 7'8½", which ties his lifetime best. He was on the World Championship team a couple of years ago, 4th at the Olympic trials. This was his best jump at a new American record, 7'10 3/4. That record is more than 10 years old. And let me tell you, the way this kid is jumping, he might just beat it this year. He wins it over Tora Harris and Stefan Strand as 5 gentlemen jumped over 7'6½" today. And in the men's pole vault, this is former Tennessee volunteer Tim Mack, 2002 indoor national champion. He was 9th at last year's World Championships in Edmonton. His second attempt at a new lifetime best, 19 feet 2 inches, and he's over easily. So Tim Mack with the best jump in the world outdoors in 2002. With that 19.2 clearance, he beats Toby Stevenson, formerly of Stanford, and Derek Miles. They both jumped 18 feet 10 inches. Back up to Larry.
Here and Beck and Luke Kipkoski.
With just over 3 laps to go, it is the Kenyans running first and second. Alba Chipkurui is in the lead wearing the yellow shorts. The pace has been 4:14 for the first mile, and then Bob has slowed down a little bit. Abraham Chibi is in second place from Kenya. Ishmael Seguir from France is in third. The Americans, Meb Keflezighi back in 8th place, way off the pace.
Well, it's a hot day. The wind can be tricky on the back stretch, but the pace did slow down in the middle of the race. 3 of the 4 guys in the lead pack have run sub 13 minutes before. It's a real quality field. The 4-time defending champion of the Prefontaine 5,000 meters is unfortunately off that pace. It doesn't look like he's going to defend Luke Kipkoski this year.
Fastest time in the world is 13:11 and change, run by Stephen Chirono from Kenya. Let's see how close these guys can get to that. And there you see, up in the lead, Alba Chipkurui. And you mentioned he's run under 13 minutes for 5,000 meters, 3.1 miles. Imagine that, folks, if you're not a runner in the past.
Well, Albert Chepkurui, the leader of this race at this point, has great leg speed. Chabi in second also has good leg speed. Mark Fett and Skier of Morocco and soon to be France need to really string it out over the last 2 laps.
I've seen Mark Bett, who's in 4th place and was ranked 10th in the world at 5,000 meters last year, have a tremendous burst of speed over some of the European races last year. There you see number 42, Abraham Chabi, relatively new in the international scene, and he's taking over the lead here.
I mean, one thing to point out, I think it's slightly disappointing. It's really not that fast of a race today. It's fast, but it's not blazing speed, and there are no Americans close to the lead pack.
The first mile was about 4:14. That was okay in your opinion?
I mean, it's okay, it's solid, but I think they really wanted to be about 4:10.
Down the main straightaway they come.
There you see, right now, that is a runner that is being lapped that they're passing.
European Cup champion.
And moving into the lead, number 42. With a gun lap to go, and they hit the gun in 12:19. Let's see who's got the speed over the last lap. That is Chabi in 1st place. And Chip Karoui has faded to 3rd, and Skier from soon-to-be France, as you say, originally Moroccan, is right now holding on for 2nd.
They're starting to string it out now. Chabi is really pushing down the back stretch, as you can see. Skier is deceivingly quick. He doesn't have great leg speed. You can see he has a choppy stride, choppy stop. But I've run against him enough times to know that you got to be careful of him. The guy really to pay attention to now is Chip Karoui in 3rd, although he's starting to get dropped.
Look at this sprint. Look at this sprint, folks. Imagine your legs turning over that fast in a race. He looked over his shoulder, and he just started to move. The crowd is rising as one here. The entire stand just shocked at this sprint being put on by Abraham Chabi from Kenya. What a terrific performance and blasting away here. 13:13 for 5,000 meters. Skier gets up for 2nd, and Chip Karoui winds up 3rd. The Americans still way down the track.
Larry, that's amazing. I think that was 55 or 56 seconds for the last 400, most of that in the last 200 meters.
Then back to
And Meb Keflezighi has just finished back in the pack. We'll try and document that later. Dwight Stones is down with a special guest. Let's join him now.
All right, thanks, Larry. I'm pleased to be joined by world record holder and Olympic champion Maurice Green, the 100 meters, of course. First of all, let's get established. You had some injury problems warming up for the Qatar Grand Prix meet. Tell me how your health is right now.
I'm 100% healthy. I'm ready to start competing, and I just can't wait till I step back on the track.
I can't wait to ask you about the amount of smack that's being talked by some of the sprinters, especially Tim Montgomery in the 100 meters. He's talking about taking down your world record and talking about wanting to meet you any place, anywhere, anytime. Your reaction?
Well, I welcome his invitation anytime he wants. But, you know, I mean, my job is to just have fun out here and just give the crowd something good to see. And when I step back on the track, I take my rightful throne. But, you know, the sprinters, the U.S. sprinters are all coming up. They're stepping to a level, and that's what I like.
Well, it's great to see you back when you do get back on the track. And when we come back, the women's 100 meters will be on the track.
High jump, 7.5. Singer is the only one to have cleared as
First, ESPN brought you the Australian Open. Now watch the year's second Grand Slam, the 2002 French Open. See the world's best players compete beginning Monday on ESPN and ESPN2.
An exclusive backstage pass to Rocky with never-before-seen footage and producer Irwin Winkler on the movie's success.
It came at a time when America needed a hero.
Rocky, the movie, and an inside look, 9 Eastern Sunday on ESPN Classic.
Hi, I'm Sam Burns of Burns Chevrolet in Gaffney. We recently had a survey taken of the top 5 reasons why people bought from us. Here are 3 of the top 5.
Number 1, honest and friendly. Number 2, good service. Number 3, a good deal.
And I thought if that's important to folks, this might make a good commercial. If good service and a good deal from honest, friendly folks is important to you, then Burns Chevrolet in Gaffney is the right choice.
We have struck the motherlode, and our lives have truly been blessed. Thank you so much. I didn't know they did that stuff in there. Been telling you, man. Guys, I'm drooling.
It's completely normal to drool over the wild, off-the-hinges cherry taste of Cheerwine. It's just part of being human.
Miss Johnson just checked in. Oh, that's about right. Her name is Johnson.
What's your name?
names? I'm telling you the names. Who's on first? Yeah, go ahead and tell me. Who? The guy on first. Who? The guy playing first base. Who? The guy on first. Who is on first? What are you asking me for? I'm asking you. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. You ain't telling me nothing. I'm asking you who's on first. That's it. Well, go ahead and tell me. Who? The guy on first base. That's his name. Whose name? Yeah. Well, go ahead and tell me. That's the man's name. Whose name? Yeah. Well, go ahead and tell me. Who is on first? What are you asking me for?
Baseball Tonight, every night at 10 and midnight on ESPN.
Many of the fastest women in the world are on the track. And how good are these women? Every single one of them have won an Olympic or World Championship medal. Amazing stat. And there you see the Prefontaine record that goes back 6 years, under 11 seconds by Gwen Torrance. And there you see Tori Edwards in lane 1, a bronze medalist in the 4x100-meter relay for the United States in Sydney.
Won the World Championship at 200 meters last year.
There's Beverly McDonald of Jamaica. She's become the dean of Jamaican sprinters now that Merlene Adi has attained Slovenian citizenship. She finished 3rd last year in Portland. She got injured a little bit at the pin relays, but looking to come back and have a great year this year.
One of the golden girls from Jamaica, Seventh Day Fines, and that country, and if I said Jamaica, it's the Bahamas. They beat the American team, did the Bahamian 4x100-meter team in Sydney. It was amazing.
There's Marion. And Marion opened her season last month at the Mount Sac Relays, which she does just about every year with a 400. She ran 50.46 and said she expected to run a little bit better than that. She came back at the pin relays and ran well. But Trevor Graham told me that he expects her to run 10.7 here today, and he says she's in great shape.
Christy Gaines, who's very strong over the second half of the race, is going to be next to Marion. She is out in lane 5.
That's Tana Lawrence of Jamaica, surprise bronze medalist in the 100 at the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. Not many people know that because she wasn't one of the favorites to win a medal, but snuck in and saw the opportunity and took advantage of it. She also finished 2nd to 7th Theta Fines last week in Portland.
And it's been a stressful couple of years for Inger Miller, going back to '99 when she had her sensational year, minor injuries, problems, and she's trying to return to her past form.
Trevor Graham told me this morning, Marion's coach Trevor Graham told me that he feels that she is in great shape at this point. She's extremely hungry. She has said that she doesn't want to forget when she's been asked about how she put the defeat last year at the World Championships, that she's put that behind her. She says she doesn't ever want to put that behind her, and she wants to always remember that, and I think that that's what's got her so focused this year.
Terrific women's field here. Marion Jones, the woman who's in lane 4 for this race, the first women's championship ever held for track and field was 1922. She would have beaten the woman who won that race by 20 yards. And there you see Marion 6 for 6 here at Prefontaine. The Nike Prefontaine Classic you're watching if you just joined us. Terrific competition and the greatest female athlete year over year since she started running track here after college is on the track in lane 4, Marion Jones.
Stand up, stand up, stand up.
We talked to Marion just yesterday about what's new this year, and she talked about the transition she's been working on to top speed.
Pretty much my transition phase right now is a lot better than it was last year. We've corrected my little leg out to the side action that was going on at World Championships that everybody seemed to catch on to. We've corrected that, and everything now will be going straight down the track. And so I'm very much looking forward to that.
I'm sure what Marion's thinking about right now is that transition, because as a great athlete, what you do, people a lot of times will say, what do you think about before you get into the blocks? Great athletes think about their weaknesses, and they're reminding themselves to do this part correctly, work on what we worked on in practice. And that transition that she's talking about, Larry, is for 100-meter athletes, you can't just jump up out of the blocks and start running. You have to go through your drive phase, which, depending on the athlete, will last from about 30 to 45 meters, and then you slowly transition into your running phase.
And they blast out of the blocks. Marion slow to get out. Marion behind right now. Here comes Marion Jones and trying to take the lead. Marion Jones ahead just by a little bit. And there you see out on the outside getting up. It's still going to be Marion Jones clearly for the victory. The time unofficially 10.91 seconds for Marion Jones. There may well have been a favorable tailwind pushing her along. Tana Lawrence gets up for second place in 11 seconds flat. Christy Gaines, 11.1 seconds.
Marion's not going to be happy with that race at all. You know, what she wanted to work on was the transition, but I'm sure that she also wanted to work on her start, which has been the weaker part of her race, if we can say that there's a weaker part of her race. But I'm sure that she wanted to run a lot faster than that. Her coach, Cheryl Graham, said she was ready to run faster than that, but I think that that's okay for the start. I mean, this is her first 100 meter of the season.
Michael, good news. This is a legal time, 10.9 seconds, fastest in the world.
Great race by all the other field. I mean, normally they're not that close to Marion Jones, and here they're pretty close to her and pushed her, you know, to the finish line, and that's something that we haven't seen in the past, and that's great for the competition for the rest of the season.
Tana Lawrence from Jamaica, lowest in the left-hand corner of your camera, ran very well. The bronze medalist in 100 meters from Jamaica in the Sydney Olympics gets second. That is a Prefontaine record easily that has stood for over 6 years. This will get Marion excited. Early season, 10:90. Good running, all that training has paid off for the woman who is the Sydney Olympic champion.
I agree, Larry. I think that it's a great time for this time of year.
And there are the results of the women's 100 meters. Marion Jones scorching the track and running the fastest time in the world this year. Olympic bronze medalist Tana Lawrence from Jamaica gets second. Christy Gaines runs well here at the Nike Prefontaine Classic. And there is Marion accepting her congratulations. When we come back, it'll be the Nike Bill Bowerman Mile. The great sprint corps that you're going to see. The fastest men and women in the world are here in Palo Alto to compete. Who better to tell us about it than Michael Johnson? Michael, welcome. And tell us what your thoughts are here in the women's and the men's 100 meters.
Well, it should be very exciting, Larry. In the men's side, Maurice Green, Tim Montgomery squaring off in what has become a heated rivalry, with trash talk coming from both sides, out of both camps. Maurice Green is the world champion. Tim Montgomery, though, has the fastest time in the world this year. And on the women's side, Marion Jones is trying to reestablish the dominance that she once had in the 100 meters after losing at the World Championships last year. She says it starts here. Christy Gaines is the #1 U.S. challenger, and she says that she has come here to win.
You know, the women's 1,500 meters is another outstanding event. Regina Jacobs and Susie Hamilton. And seriously, you don't want to invite these two women to sit next to each other at a dinner party.
That's true, Larry. They hate to lose against one another. Regina Jacobs has a 9-1 record against Susie Favor at championship events. But Susie Favor has been the fastest. Regina has been most consistent, but Susie Favor is the second fastest American of all time. So these two hate to lose against one another. It should be a tight race.
Let's get out to another member of our broadcast team who also hated to lose in his days of competition, bringing us all the good news from down trackside, our third member, Dwight Stones.
Well, gentlemen, this is a national championship. You assume everyone shows up here ready to roll. The hot event on the field this spring has been the men's shot put, and all of the players are here and ready to roll. And in the women's pole vault, the Olympic champion, the world record holder, she set that record here 1 year ago on this facility. Stacey Dergila, I guarantee you, she will take jumps at a world record this evening. The wind is perfect, but there have been events over the last couple of days. Let's go back to Friday, and let's take a look at some of the field event action that we enjoyed then. The men's hammer throw was enhanced by the return of 1996 Olympic silver medalist Lance Deal, who supposedly retired after the Sydney Games. It was a battle of southpaws with defending national champ Kevin McMahon, who has the 2 longest throws by an American in 2002, aggravating a groin injury on his opening toss and having to compete at less than 100% with his remaining throws. The Sydney Olympian and former Georgetown Hoya had to settle for 3rd place. Into the ring steps the real deal, who will turn 41 in a couple of weeks. He dealt the winning throw in round 3 and stood upon the podium's top spot for the 9th time in his illustrious career. That ties former Olympic champion Hal Connolly. The 4-time Olympian was just happy to be here with his winning throw.
Well, winning my 9th, first of all, I had no idea in my wildest dreams that I'd ever be back to a national championship. In Sacramento in 2000 for the trials, I was done. And I don't miss it when I don't do it. I just love it when I'm out there throwing. It's just a joy for me to be in the ring.
The men's long jump is enjoying a surge of recent young talent. Former Alabama star Miguel Pate shocked most experts at the U.S. Indoor Championships when he became the 3rd longest performer in indoor history with this 28.2 1/4 leap. Here in Palo Alto, the competition was keen with a single World Cup berth on the line for the winner only. Pate threw down the gauntlet early with a 27.8 3/4 all-time outdoor best and felt strongly that it should hold up. Into the mix comes Superman himself, Savante Stringfellow, last summer's World Championship silver medalist. This 2000 Olympian pulled out all the stops as he came excruciatingly close to the magic 28-foot barrier with this 27:11.5 winner. String led 3 Americans over 27 feet, and it appears as though the long jump is back to being an American stronghold. Just to drive the point home again, only the winners of these races and field events will represent the U.S. at the World Cup in September. A lot of hot action down here on the field as well as the track. Let's go back to the booth for the guys.
Thank you, Dwight. The women's 800-meter runners are on the track, and there you see the world record, the American record, and the meet record set by Meredith Rainey going back to 1996. Here's our lane assignments in our fields. Hazel Clark is in 2 to pick out some of the stars who have run well this year and before. Jen Toomey, Mary Jane Harrelson, Shanti Earl, and Nicole Teeter will be in lane 7. Sasha Spencer on the outside. There is Nicole Teeter, and she has had a breakthrough year, Michael.
Yes, she has. She's one of the new stars of American track and field. We saw her run at the Prefontaine Classic earlier this year, beating Regina Jacobs. She's been running very quick and ran well in her semifinal.
And there's Hazel Clark getting off the mark. This is her first race back since the World Championships, and everybody's wondering what shape she's in. She's one of the great talents in America. The lineage she comes from is really amazing, and performances have been that way over the years for her whole family.
People wondering about Hazel Clark because she has not competed this year. I think she's been dealing with some injuries, and hopefully she's healthy enough here to have a good showing. She is one of the best 800-meter runners in American history, and she follows her sister, Joetta Clark, who is probably the best 800-meter runner, if not arguably the best in U.S. history, and very consistent over a very long period of time.
Let's set the field up there for you. Nicole Teeter up there pressing Sasha Spencer with the gray trimmed outfit in second place right now, and Mary Jane Harrelson, who's better known as a 1500-meter runner, has run very well in the heats here. A 2:02 for Harrelson. She's in third place right now as they come up to the 400 meters. Very solid first pace here. 58:11 for the first 400 meters. It is solid. And that is up in the lead right now is Teeter, followed by Spencer. Mary Jane Harrelson is right now up there in as well as Jen Toomey.
Nicole Teeter has great speed. She actually ran a leg on the 4x400 meters earlier this year at the Penn Relays against Marion Jones and wasn't intimidated. So she's in very good position right now and very dangerous coming off of this final curve.
It is Harrelson in second place. Here comes Jen Toomey moving up into second, chasing the great speed and fine performances earlier this year of Nicole Teeter. There's 150 meters to go. Teeter begins pulling away from the rest of the field. Toomey is in second place. Harrelson is in third. It looks to be the Nicole Teeter show here for the women's 800 meters. She is lengthening her lead with every stride. She's got a 10-yard lead, a 12-yard lead, 20 meters to go. Nicole Teeter shines in 1 minute 58 and 82 100ths of a second. Toomey gets second in the run-in.
That was a very impressive race by Nicole Teeter. She ran a pretty conservative race, sticking with the pack until the final, relying on her kick, which worked for her very well coming down the home stretch.
Sasha Spencer wound up in third place. This is Teeter. She begins to move down the back stretch. She's got such confidence and very good strength for 1500-meter running that she knows she's got speed, and she can begin, Michael, to make her move like she did and feel that no one else can stay with her. She's so strong over the last 200 meters of an 800-meter race. There you see Jen Toomey in second place, and Sasha Spencer was in third. And there are the results. Sasha Spencer gets third. That's the best performance by an American outdoors this year in the 800 meters. The 2002 U.S. Outdoor Track and Field Championships are brought to you by Visa, preferred card of the USA Track and Field Team. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Icebreakers, the best way to break the ice. We'll be back to see many of the world's greatest athletes at the 2002 U.S. Outdoor Track and Field Championships right after this.
If you only read the front page of the newspaper or watched the first 5 minutes of the network news, you might wonder if you have to reconfigure DNA or hit 74 home runs to make a difference. What about a woman who actually keeps her 24-hour diner open 24 hours a day? What about someone who does something better than they did yesterday? Even if you don't make headlines, can you make progress every day?
Imagine what you would do with an extra $100 a day. Well, if you sign for your purchases whenever you use your Visa check card, you could turn fantasy into reality. Because each time you sign, you'll be entered to win $100 a day for a whole year. Imagine that. The Visa check card. It's everywhere you want to be.
I think she's smiling at me. Great smile. I wonder what her mom looks like. I'm wearing my lucky boxers. She'd look good in my boxers. What if she snores? What if I snore? Don't trip. Don't drool. Relax. How's my breath?
The intense flavor crystals and icebreakers give you a long-lasting fresh breath. And that should give you some confidence.
Get the cool. Get the cool to shine.
Icebreakers, the best way to break the ice.
And the women's 800 meters is history. We should add here quickly that Hazel Clark, wondering how she would do, wound up in 8th place in 2:08. Let's go down to Dwight Stones.
All right, Larry, Nicole Teeter, was that your race plan, to run the way you did today in these conditions?
Yes, it was to take the lead and take it out as fast as I felt comfortable, and hopefully people will be with me or around me, and then just bring it home the last 150-200.
You're barely into the middle of your season, really. I'm sure you're going to Europe to have some great races. What can we expect in way of a time from Nicole Teeter by the end of 2002?
Well, this year I am keeping my eye on that American record. That's what I want. So hopefully that's what I'll get.
Very ambitious. I'm sure that you'll have a good shot at it later on in the season. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Well, the women's 400 meters is next. We hope you've been enjoying our ESPN coverage. 40 hours of weekend programming discussing and celebrating Title IX for women. And it's appropriate the women's 400 meters is next. There you see the records and the meet record of 49.4. Let's go right now to the women's pole vault. Stacy Dragila up, and she is at a high height, Dwight.
Larry, third attempt at a new world record, 15.9 3/4. She was clean through the competition through 15.3. That is the height that she cleared. She's had some problems with the wind, as she did a couple weeks ago. They're not quite as difficult to deal with this particular event, but she's had 2 attempts at it. She's on her biggest pole. The wind is starting to go sort of from her left to right, and that's when she has some problems planning the pole properly. Here she goes, final attempt at a new world record, 15.9 3/4, and she stops up because she can feel the wind blowing too hard from her left to her right. We'll keep you posted. Let's go back to the women's 400.
Right you are, Dwight. That wind was coming across her body. You could see the little light little pennants that they have really whipping up there. Women's 400-meter runners on the track. And there you see the lane assignments. They had rounds here to qualify to get to the finals. Gerald Miles Clark won her heat in just over 51 seconds. Michelle Collins won hers in just under 50 seconds. And the talent is here. Many of our members from Sydney on this track here that ran the 400 on the relay for the United States, Michael.
That's right, and Michelle Collins has taken that and run with it. She's had a great season so far, winning 2 Grand Prix meets so far on the circuit, and she's got the fastest time in the world this year. Gerald Miles Clark, a veteran, 35 years old. She made her first Olympic team back in 1988. And she's a veteran. She says that she doesn't feel like she's lost any speed. She just hasn't worked on it much so far this year. And I guess she's preparing to go to Europe, and that's when she'll be ready to really run. But she's run well in her semifinal and preliminary races here. It should be a great race between the two.
This just happened. Let's get down to Dwight Stones. Dwight?
Moments ago, Stacy Dragila, her final attempt at 15.9 3/4. The wind calmed down a little bit, and this is without question her best of the 3. She had the hip height, just didn't have it in the right place. Expect some great jumps from this young lady during the summer. Guys?
Thank you, Dwight. Women are nestled down in their blocks for the 400 meters. To show you how far the sport has come, and I mentioned that earlier. In 1902, 100 years ago, the men ran 50.8. for the 400 meters. And they're off in the 400s. We'll pick up more with Stacy Draghiler a little bit later in our show, but we'll show you how she got up that high. Women's 400 meters flying out there.
Michelle Collins already trying to take the lead, overtaking Lisa Barber on her outside. But look at Latasha Colander-Richardson, the U.S. champion 2 years ago, out in lane 8, putting a gap between herself and the field. She will have to have a very strong finish because she took out very hard and ran a very nice first 200.
The field starting to gain on Colander-Richardson on the outside, and that is, we're talking about Michelle Collins in lane 6 beginning to draw on Colander-Richardson on the outside as they head for home. There's 100 meters to go. Gerald Miles has good strength usually. And look at how tight this field is as you're looking at Michelle Collins trying to pull away. Here comes Gerald Miles. It's Gerald Miles pulling away, and it's going to be Gerald Miles Clark at the finish line. Michelle Collins gets second, a time of 50.91 seconds. They're running as fast as the men did.
They are. And the wind is blowing a little bit hard today. The backstretch is particularly tough in the 400 when you're dealing with wind, regardless of which way it blows, and it'll sometimes swirl. Near the end of this race, it's very tight. That's McKelly Barber and Demetria Washington in third and fourth, and both of them are, it's not McKelly Barber, that's Lisa Barber, who we mentioned earlier. A very tight race for the end. Great race by Gerald Miles Clark.
Gerald Miles winds up the victor. Michelle Collins second, and Monique Hennigan gets up for third, and Latasha Colander-Richardson does fade to 4. Let's go down to Dwight, who is with Gerald Miles Clark.
Gerald, you just can't figure out which event you want to run. You still got the great 400-meter speed and the strength at 800. Why did you choose the 400 this time around?
Well, honestly, I love the 400. I'm having fun this year, and it's on the Grand Prix circuit, so I'm just happy. Coach and I have been working on my speed and strength. Thank you, JJ. Greatest coach in the world. And I'd like to say, out in Knoxville, Tennessee, we're headed that way.
Have you got the strength base this season to go all the way through the World Cup in September?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Well, we'll look for you there, Gerald.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Ari. Woo!
Well, gray hair is God's graffiti, and at 35 years of age, she hasn't got any yet. When we come back, we'll show you one of the best events for the United States in Olympic competition on the track.
All spring you work to get your lawn thick and green, and then along comes summer and the brown patches. Hi, I'm Ashton Ritchie with the Scotts Company. Don't just blame the summer heat. It's also insects, bugs you can't even see, eating your lawn alive. The solution? New Scotts Turf Builder with Summer Guard. It eliminates lawn-damaging insects. Plus, it greens up your lawn with a special summer fertilizer made for even the hottest months. New Scotts Turf Builder with Summer Guard. Put it down this weekend for your best summer lawn ever. Guaranteed.
Sunday night on ESPN, the city of St. Louis and the baseball world tries to come to grips with the passing of one Cardinal team leader while they still grieve the death of a Cardinal legend. At 7 p.m. Eastern, Baseball Tonight will have up-to-the-minute coverage of the death of Darryl Kyle. Then at 8 p.m., the Cardinals, still mourning longtime broadcaster Jack Buck, return to the field to face the Cubs following a pregame moment of silence. And SportsCenter follows the game with a recap of the day's event.
We've always gone our own way in the South. How we drive, where we drive, what we drive. The kind of cars, the kind of trucks. Like this Dodge Ram Quad Cab. The only full-size pickup with 4 real doors and a full-size bed. Plus the biggest brakes and wheels in its class. You'll find it down the road a piece at Truckville, your new South Dodge dealer. Grab Dodge's 7/100 powertrain pledge plus a $1,000 cash allowance. Ford, GM, and Toyota don't match this.
Now, you can have it all with a short-term loan with no hassles and no headaches. It's First Cash Pawn, where you can get the cash you need when you need it. That's right. If your bills are piling up, get cash fast for car repairs. Get cash fast for groceries. Get cash fast for home bills. Or get cash fast for any reason, because we never ask why you need the cash. Don't pay those high fees for bounce checks or credit card charges. There's only one place to get the cash you need. Be smart. Get to First Cash Pawn for a short-term loan.
There have been some recent fireworks in the women's javelin. Purdue senior Serene Ross, who set her first American record in winning the NCAA championships earlier this month, uncorked her second American standard on her 4th throw of the competition.
This converted hammer thrower came into 2002 season with a life best of just 170 feet. Kim Kreiner gives the U.S. 2 women over 190. After taking a year off to finish her master's degree in administration, American indoor record holder Tisha Waller is back to her winning ways. The former North Carolina Tar Heel and '96 Olympian wins her 4th outdoor title with this clearance at 6 feet 5 inches. Gwen Wentland has her highest jump in a while and her highest ever finish at these championships.
Well, 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 the men's 400 meters are next. What do you know about this, Michael? You ready for this, man? I bet you're ready.
I am ready. I'm ready. I feel like going down and getting in my blocks.
There you see the world American record, and MJ has the record for the meet as well. There you see also many of the very best 400-meter runners in the world. Calvin Harrison, Antonio Pettigrew, his twin Alvin in lane 7, the Olympic champion at 400-meter intermediate hurdles, Angelo Taylor on the outside at 8, working on his speed this year. The fastest man in the world is Leonard Bird in lane 5 this year, and Jerome Young's been running well. What a stacked field.
It is. Leonard Bird ran a personal best this year, running 44.45 down in Brazil. His confidence has soared since he left San Antonio and moved out and started training with George Williams, who used to be Antonio Pettigrew and Jerome Young's coach.
And there you see Antonio Pettigrew. He could sing Old Man River, this guy, and sing it really well. 5-time U.S. champion. There you see, won the World Championship back 11 years ago. What a testimony to discipline and hard work. And this is his final year of competition, he says, at the age of 34. Loves to run from behind. Jerome Young loves to get out. Angelo Taylor can run either way.
Yes, he can. Olympic gold medalist in the 400 hurdles, but he's run on several Olympic gold medal 4x400 meter relays, and I've had the pleasure of running with him. He's a great competitor. He loves running the 400. He likes to switch back and forth. He is a threat at 400 meters, and people now know that. And anytime he lines up in the 400 meters, and particularly with him being out in lane 8, he is very dangerous.
I said that we're strong in this event. We're getting better or slipping a little bit, in your opinion?
I think we're deep. I think we're slipping a little bit.
Young is in 4, Bird's in 5, Pettigrew is in 6. This is a terrific field, though. The wind is gusting as we speak.
Look for Alvin Harrison in lane 2 to go out. Calvin Harrison in lane 2 and Alvin Harrison in lane 7 to go out very hard. The twins, they both usually take it out very hard. You see right now, Alvin Harrison, I'm in lane 7. Dominating at this point, but Leonard Bird is still in there.
Bird is definitely moving up, and he's kind of monitoring. He can see the guys on the outside. The guy not running well right now is Angelo Taylor. He is outside in lane 8. It is really Alvin Harrison pushing the pedal down. He ran well in the heats, ran 45.15 to qualify. Here comes Leonard Bird in 2nd place, and it's all right now. Alvin Harrison on the outside. Here comes the late rush by Angelo Taylor, and it's going to be Alvin Harrison, Angelo Taylor getting up for 2nd. Antonio Pettigrew looks like he gets 3rd, 44.62 seconds. Excellent time on a bit of a windy day here, and within 0.2 of a second of the best run in the world this year.
An excellent time and an excellent strategy. With that kind of wind, you want to really take it out hard, which is exactly what he did. Establish the lead, and then just try to hold on and put the pressure on everyone else. As you see right now, he's so far ahead that they can't help but to have to concentrate and focus on him and take themselves out of their own races. He just focuses on the finish line. Really good form coming all the way through the finish line and running through the tape. 44.62 is a pretty good time considering this wind.
You know, he did what you often do, run a hard turn, did Alvin Harrison on the 2nd turn.
And you see Leonard Bird right here struggling to try to stay within himself and run his own race. He sees Alvin Harrison so far out there in the corner of his eye, he can't do anything but now go to strength and try to use his kick. But at this point, he just got to be concerned with Angelo Taylor coming up on his right and then Antonio Pettigrew as well.
And here are the final results of the men's 400 meters, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Very fine time for Alvin Harrison. 30 years ago, when Title IX started, the world record for women's 100 meters stood at 11.08 seconds. 7 of the 8 finalists we had.
When it comes comes to issues facing your voice, data, or IP networks, why put up with 57 points of accountability when you can have one? Verizon.
I am Emmett Smith. I'm Emmett Smith.
I'm Emmett Smith.
I am
Emmett Smith. I am Emmett Smith. No, really, I am.
Worried that the you shopping online really isn't you? That's why Visa's introducing Verified by Visa, a new security service that will help protect Visa cards from unauthorized online use with a personal password. This service is only available on select Visa cards issued by participating banks.
I am Emmett Smith.
Please! To learn more and to check if your card is eligible for this service, go to visa.com/verified.
I think she's smiling at me. Great smile. I wonder what her mom looks like. I'm wearing my lucky boxers. She'd look good in my boxers. What if she snores? What if I snore? Don't trip. Don't drool. Relax. How's my breath?
The intense flavor crystals and icebreakers give you a long-lasting fresh breath, and that should give you some confidence.
Get the cool. Get the cool to
Icebreakers, the best way to break the ice.
Summer in Dublin, Ohio, where you can count on two things, mosquitoes and garage sales.
You know that's one of a kind.
Half the town is buying,
This must be one of a kind.
and the other half is selling.
It's one of a kind.
And with the money we save, we go to Wendy's for the super value menu. Everything is just 99 cents. Junior bacon cheeseburgers, made Dave's way, cold drinks, hot fries. It's the best 99 cents you can spend.
One of a kind.
The super value menu at Wendy's. It's better here. And remember, you can eat great, even late.
Warning. This movie is so exhilarating, it can only be seen exclusively in IMAX theaters and other large format cinemas.
Yeah, I like that.
ESPN's Ultimate X, rated PG, now playing.
I'm Jay Moore. Join me Tuesday with my guests Jeff Gordon and Al Sharpton. That's a lot of hair product.
He's tough, yet sensitive. He's smart, yet humble. More sports kicks off the block with Jeff Gordon and Al Sharpton, Tuesday, 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Some broke down the wall so others could bask in the glory.
We're very appreciative of the people who paved the way for where we are today, but in no way are we at a point where we could all sit back and say, everything is perfect now, let's stop the struggle.
Well, Michael, our congratulations to all the women in the last 30 years who have learned self-esteem and discipline and goal setting from competing in sports. It's about time.
Marion Jones is a primary example of that, and she's a good example for the young girls. She's very active and involved in women's sports and getting girls involved in sports, and that's great for Marion. It's great for the sport.
A crowd of 8,000 people buzzing, many of them standing in anticipation. The women's 100 meters is next. And there you see the world and American record by FloJo still, and the meet record belongs to Marion Jones. Angela Williams will be running from lane 1. She ran well in the trial rounds, got through 2 heats, as all the other athletes did. Candace Young, a former teammate of Angela Williams from Southern Cal, is in lane 2. Lane 3, Christy Gaines from the United States, who won her heat very tellingly, ran well, pulled away from the field in 10.96 seconds yesterday. Tori Edwards, an Olympic bronze medalist in the 4x100 in Sydney, will be in lane 4. And next to her, Marion Jones in the center of the track will have lane 5. Jones won her heat running into a very strong headwind of about 6 miles an hour, 5 miles plus yesterday, getting under 11 seconds. Kelly White will be in lane 6, ranked among the top 10 in the world at 100 and 200 meters last year. Inger Miller, coming back and still trying to get back to the form of 1999, is in lane 5, and Brianna Glenn on the outside from Arizona will have lane 8. Marion Jones has really, I think, looked well this year, run well so far, Michael.
She has, and she's acknowledged that she had some issues last year that caused her to not be as focused and may have cost her the World Championship last year, but she's refocused this year, and she's dedicated herself in this season to getting back to where she was in 1998 when she ran a personal best of 10.65.
There's perhaps her main competition, Christy Gaines, who
usually closes very, very well. Now 31 years of age and running extremely well.
She is running extremely well. She's on her home track. She's attended college here at Stanford. But she's going to have to run a PR in order to beat Marion Jones, and she knows that. And I think she's focused on running as fast as she can, and that's where she needs to be. Not so focused on beating Marion, but running the best race that she can possibly run, and then just dealing with whatever the results are.
You see Tori Edwards, who is a training mate of Maurice Green and a medalist. She is going to be in lane 4, has to run the race of her life to get up with Marion.
She does, but she's in a position here with no pressure. No one's expecting anything of Tori Edwards, and she ran a great race yesterday for Tori. She ran a very nice semifinal, so there's no pressure, and that's often a dangerous position for the other people in this race because Tori's got no pressure and she's running well.
100 meters, 109 yards, 1 foot, 1 inch. And it's a fair start. And they get out well. Angela Williams out well on the inside. And here comes Marion Jones. Also running well up there is Christy Gaines. And it's Gaines running well. And Marion Jones. Marion Jones comes on in the second half of the race, as she so often does. Unofficially the time, 11.01 seconds. She covers the 100 meters. And looking like Marion Jones.
Yeah, she did look like Marion Jones, but she looked like at the end that she slowed down a little bit. She didn't get a great start. Marion doesn't often get a great start, but usually right about here is when she will start to turn it on and separate from the field, but that does not happen. Is that because Christy Gaines is running a great race or because Marion Jones is not running a very good race? It could be a combination of the two.
They ran into a headwind of about 2 miles an hour. Here they come out of the blocks again.
Tori Edwards got a great start. Christy Gaines got an unbelievable start for Christy. She's not the kind of starter that Tori is, but she got a great start and ran her race and did what she had to do. Not focused on Marion Jones. Marion had work to do and could feel the pressure all the way through, which may have caused her to tense up a little bit because she's not used to running with people that close to her.
Marion Jones can run the football 40, guys, in just under 4.4 seconds. And she showed her speed here as she held off Christy Gaines, perhaps as fine a closer other than Marion in women's 100-meter running in the world. Marion Jones, 5 feet 10 inches tall. It takes her a little while to get unwound, but she certainly does by the 30 and 40-meter mark in a race, and her top-end speed is the best in the world. Let's go down to Dwight Stones.
All right, thanks, Larry. Marion, I can't quite figure this track out. 2 weeks ago, you ran here. It was cold. It was windy. You ran 11:20 and were working hard. Ran a great semifinal. That final in that time just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, it really doesn't, but I'll take the win. I felt so incredible yesterday in the semifinals, and I mean, that was a 10-7, 10-6 race. Today, you know, it was a little bit different, but I'll take the win. Great crowd here. I'm just excited.
What have you done the last couple of weeks to put a race together like you did in the semifinals? Because you looked rough 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I put together my start. We made some small adjustments, and it's incredible how those little things really do make the difference. And in that semifinal, in that prelim race, my start was, I nailed it. I don't know so much in this final, but I'm happy now moving on to the 200 and then on to Europe.
Okay, it's great to see you again, and congratulations and some good luck in Europe.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Marion Jones and the other women on a superb 100 meters. Christy Gaines gets second, and a woman ranked in the top 10 in the world in 100 meters. Kelly White winds up third. Coming up, Maurice Green and the 50 meters in the duel with the sun with Tim Montgomery.
Hey there, lonely girl.
Presenting Body and Soul of the 60s. 26 unforgettable hits. Get Body and Soul of the 60s on 2 CDs or cassettes for just $19.99.
You got me going in circles.
Plus, use your credit card and get a free bonus album of love jams.
If you stay down.
Then audition other beautiful soul albums. Satisfaction is guaranteed.
Tell it like it is.
So use your credit card and get 3 romantic albums.
Call 1-800-791-4949 to order Body and Soul for just $19.99 plus shipping. Use your credit card, get classic love jams free, or send check your money over to the address on your screen, or order online at timelife.com.
Sometimes just hanging out with your friends is all it takes to have a great time. But instead you are here, grounded, because you smoked weed and your parents found out. Lose your parents' trust, and you can kiss your social life goodbye.
Right on target. Now, Grecian 5 hair color targets only your gray hair to leave subtle tones like your own natural color, all in 5 easy minutes. Grecian 5 targets only the gray.
Looking for high voltage energy that tastes great? Try new Centrum Performance Energy Bars. Shockingly great taste. Plus, all the energy you'd expect from Centrum Performance. New Centrum Performance Energy Bars. Taste the energy.
1 and 200 meters.
Who is the fastest man in the world for the early part of the outdoor 2002 season? The Verizon men's 100 meters is next. Maurice Green with the world and American record. Leroy Burrell has the meet record for back in 1991 when the meet was in New York. And there you see the athletes here on the Stanford red track. You're looking at Tom Green, who is inside in lane 1. He was 4th in the NCAA Division II championships from South Dakota. Surprised everybody here. Tyson Gay is in lane 2, the U.S. Junior College champion from Barton County Community College in Kansas. J.J. Johnson, a big surprise bursting on the scene in the last couple of years. A gold medalist from Sydney on the relay will be in lane 3. There is the world record holder, the Olympic champion, and the world champion, Maurice Green. He will be in lane 4, pacing as he usually does. He is like a caged tiger before the race goes off.
You know, Maurice Green didn't look good at the beginning of the season, and a lot of other guys did look very good, but he has come on since then. He only had 1 race in preparation for this, and that was enough to reestablish his confidence, which Tim Montgomery has been talking about all season. Maurice Green's confidence. He says that Maurice is not the Maurice of old, referring to the Maurice who beat him last year at the World Championships. But Tim Montgomery's going to have to focus more on his own races and not focus on and not get caught up into whether Maurice is the Maurice of now or old.
This is Kobe Miller, who's been running very, very well, very confident. Had a sore Achilles, really, from yesterday. It wasn't quite the Achilles, but the calf just behind it that reached the Achilles. We'll see what happens. He will be wearing a white top there. John Drummond, who ran very well in the heats, now 33 years of age, and a medalist, gold medalist on the relay from Sydney, will be in lane 7 on the outside.
You know, Maurice said that he looked back at Tim Montgomery the other day to kind of show him that, look how far I'm ahead of you, because Tim Montgomery's been talking so much, and he said that, you know, he's going to reestablish himself, and that's what he plans to do here, and he feels like he's on his way. And obviously what he did yesterday showed Tim Montgomery a lot.
Tim Montgomery feels, and he is going to be beside him in lane 5, that he has higher top-end speed than Maurice Green does, and he feels that if he can stay with him early in part of the race, he'll win later. Green in 4, Montgomery in 5. It's a fair start. Maurice Green gets out well. Green with a good start. Drummond with a good start. It is Maurice Green. Here comes Tim Montgomery. It is Green. Montgomery. Green with a lead. And Montgomery can't quite catch him at the tape. The time, 9.88 seconds. And we'll get you the wind reading. They ran into a wind that was, they had a tailwind of 2.4 meters per second. That works out to 5 miles an hour. That is over the allowable limit, but a great fast race. And the drama of the two 27-year-olds who both want to be king continues. Montgomery's improved from last year to this year. He says, I can take down Maurice. And Michael, it is very close between these guys.
Well, this race was all about the start. Maurice Green gets a great start. He is already out ahead of everybody else, 3 meters, 4 meters into this race. And then the 100 meters, that's what you see him right here already ahead of the field. Tim Montgomery, again, does not get a great start. And that makes the difference. You see Tim Montgomery actually start to close on Maurice Green right here at the end of the race, which will tell him, wow, you know, if I'd have gotten a great start, this would have been my race. It's obvious, and it's right there.
So close. No more than 1/100th of a second, I think, will officially separate these two men. He says he's got better top-end speed. No one's been able to say that since Green came on the scene 7 years ago, and this may be telling in the future. Montgomery's got to improve his start. Watch him catch him at the tape by almost no more than probably 3 or 4 inches does he fail to get the victory. And the difference between the two is 1/100th of a second. Dwight Stones is down courtside. Dwight, what's happening down there?
All right, Larry. Well, Maurice, you made it everything that everybody wanted. You had a phenomenal start.
Yeah, I did. Had a little problem in the middle of my race, but I won. That's the most important thing. I just came out here, have fun, and I gave the fans a great show.
Now, I got to tell you, you're one of the only people who didn't see the closing speed on Tim Montgomery. It was impressive for 50 meters in. He's really worked on that part of his race.
Yeah, he is. He's a very strong runner. I mean, he gave me a nice run today, and I look forward to running against him again. It's going to be a lot of fun.
A couple of weeks ago, this track looked like it might not yield a fast time. I thought it wouldn't go under 9:90. He had a little too much wind, but it is clear that even only after 2 races, you're in mid-season form.
Yeah, I'm in good form. I always say the track doesn't make the athlete makes the track. So who cares what kind of surface we're on? Still got to run fast.
Congratulations, and I know you're going to tear it up in Europe.
And run fast they did by 1/100th of a second. The wind slightly over the allowable limit of 4.5 miles an hour. Maurice Green gets the victory over Tim Montgomery. Speaking of Maurice Green, he has been nominated as Male Athlete of the Year in track and field, and you can see the ESPY Awards on June 10th, where he might win that award on ESPN Live from Hollywood at 9 p.m.
Ultra powerful. Ultra easy. Ultra powerful. Ultra easy. This is the concept behind new Lotramin Ultra, the new way to cure athlete's foot. Why is it ultra powerful? Because it's got a new prescription strength ingredient that nobody else has. Why is it ultra easy? Because you just have to use it once a day, and it keeps your athlete's foot free for 3 months. Ultra powerful, ultra easy. New once a day Lotramin Ultra.
They've been called a dream team, a gas to watch. Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon.
This is the best show on television.
Pardon the interruption. 5:30 Eastern weekdays on ESPN. And again at 7 on ESPN2.
The 2002 ESPY Awards go to Hollywood, and you can be part of it. Just cast your vote for your favorite athlete of 2001. Log on to ESPN.com or visit your local AutoZone and look for the Pennzoil Fan Favorite Display. Vote now through June 23rd. The winning athlete will be announced on E! Live from the red carpet, the ESPY Awards. Tune in to the ESPY Awards live from the Kodak Theater in Hollywood. Wednesday, July 10th at 9 p.m. on ESPN.
Nothing gets in our way in the South. We go around it, we go up it, we go through it. Kind of like Dodge Durango. Magnum V8 power and bold styling at a price that's certainly no obstacle. Durango SXT. Big wheels, big tires, big CD sound system, and a V8 engine. All for around $24,500. Available at just one place, Truckville, which just happens to be your new South Dodge dealer. Grab Dodge's 7/100 powertrain pledge. Ford, GM, Toyota, and Honda don't match it.
Excuse me, I heard there's a car dealer in Union that offers the best prices in the upstate. Do you know who he is?
Nobody.
You know, I heard he offered the best deals around. Do you know anybody who does that?
Nobody.
Good afternoon, gents.
Chip, can you tell this lady where she can find nobody?
Nobody? Beats me.
Ferguson Chevrolet Buick Pontiac in Union, because nobody does it better.
We're back live here at Palo Alto on the beautiful campus of Stanford University. Larry Rawson along with Michael Johnson and Dwight Stones. And here are the ESPY Award winners. I shouldn't say winners, nominees that you see here for Male and Female Athlete of the Year. It is an international cast. We wish them well and congratulate them on a great performance that they had during the entire season of 2001. While we have a second, just our best wishes to Hal Bateman, who's retiring from USATF for 40 years for providing service to the sport. And our thanks also to Walt Murphy and the rest of the support group for the great research they provide us during the season this year. Look at the crowd that you see there, folks. There's 8,000 spectators here in the stands around the track. They have about 2,000 in standing room only that they've got here along the railings to the entire circumference of this track. Women's 100-meter athletes are up, and there you see the field. Gail Devers looked terrific in her heats. Maisha McKelvey ran a personal best. Anjanette Kirkland, who's a world indoor and outdoor champion, is in 8th. And there we come out to Gail Devers, Michael.
Gail Devers is a 7-time U.S. champion. She's 35. She's as enthusiastic as ever. I heard her on a radio program in the Bay Area the other day, and she said she thinks she can still break the world record of 12.21.
Now you see Maisha McKelvey, who took a year off last year, got married, got settled, got hungry again for the sport, and she has run extremely well. A winner earlier this year indoors at the Millrose Games.
And she also ran a personal best here, Larry, yesterday in the semifinals, running 12:67. So she's poised. She's run very good races. She looked very confident. She said that she felt very easy in running a personal best yesterday and qualifying for this final.
Devers, after the fourth hurdle, sometimes runs into problems. She's got a brilliant start, great speed, great technique, but she's so fast she gets a little closer to the hurdles as the race goes on.
We also have to mention that Anjanette Kirkland is the reigning world indoor and outdoor champion, who's also in this race in lane 7.
Devers in 5, Morrison to her left in 4. And it's a fair start. They get off well. And there it is, as usual, Gail Devers with her blinding speed beginning to lead the race. It is Devers all the way. McKelvey starting to gain on her slightly. It is Devers. It is McKelvey. It is Devers at the tape in 12.53 seconds for the victory. It is amazing how she's kept her speed now in her mid-30s. Gail Devers running well into a headwind of about a mile an hour. Excellent time, 12.51 seconds. And Jeanette Kirkland winds up 3rd. That is the fastest time in the world this year.
Well, Gail Devers often gets a great start, but what you will notice, you'll see, is she has so much speed between the hurdles, and that's because she's a 2-time 100-meter Olympic champion. But at this point, is starting to pick up ground at about the 5th or 6th hurdle on Gail Devers. Never happened before when I've seen Gail Devers run, so that tells me that Maisha McKelvey Gail Devers some great races and confidence this year.
Dwight Stones is down trackside. Dwight?
All right, Larry, thank you very much. Yeah, I know you've been telling me it's meet to meet, but you are running faster and faster, and you're healthy the whole season. How can you even consider not going for the next few years?
You know what? My statement is, I keep telling everybody, I'm walking in ordered steps. And where God leads me, I'm going to follow. So it's still meet to meet. I go home and I pray that my next place that I'm supposed to run, he will reveal it to me. And I'm very thankful for the victory, the fans who were great. I'm thankful for my support team. And it just, you know, it's God's favor, and it's all thanks to God.
How come you have been so consistent running such fast times? I mean, you're flirting with American record type of races. It's not in the middle of the season for you yet.
Well, you know, I think the difference for me this year is I really tried to become a student of my event and really learn what I'm doing and feeling it for myself, and that's the difference. And, you know, I'm just thankful. I mean, it's me and God out here. I kid you not. People think I'm crazy when I say that, but that's what it is. I finally let go and let God take control.
Another phenomenal performance, Gail. Congratulations on a great season. All right, the results of that race, Gail Devers, 12.51, another phenomenal performance, and we had some events yesterday that let's take a look at them on the field. The men's shot put has been the event in the field this spring, and 2002 world leader Adam Nelson is a big reason why. This just doesn't need words. He had the lead going into that throw, and for the crowd, it was icing on the cake. The usual suspects putting up big marks in 2nd and 3rd. Two-time defending champ in the javelin, 25-year-old Brode Greer has dominated the American scene for a number of years. He finished just out of the medals at last summer's World Championship and missed the American record by just 5 inches. Put an end to things early. His first attempt, the winner, 268 feet, 4 inches. Sydney silver medalist Lawrence Johnson attempted to be competitive here in Palo Alto despite having knee surgery just a month ago. Expect Lojo to be back strong soon. The man with a hot hand in 2002 has been American record holder Jeff Hartwig. After passing several heights and having the temperature drop about 15 degrees, Hartwig clears 19.2 on his first attempt and wraps up his 3rd outdoor title. Piece of cake. Hartwig over Mac and Olympic champion Nick Heisong.
And, well, the great competitions continue here at the 2002 Outdoor Championships of Track and Field at Stanford University. And there's the Icebreakers men's 110-meter hurdles coming up. And these guys are really many of the finest all-around athletes. I think these hurdlers combine speed and agility. They're amazing. Alan Johnson has the meet record. He is in the competition, the 1996 Olympic champion. And there is a deep field here, and one guy we'll keep an eye on among all of those is in lane 4, Larry Wade. Terrence Trammell is somebody to consider, and there's the champion himself, Michael.
And Alan Johnson looks so smooth and relaxed in his semifinal that I think that he's ready to run. He's ready to run very fast here. He says that he feels that when he's healthy, and he is this year, that he is the man to beat.
He's running extremely well. He's quick over the hurdles. He's very aggressive. And there's Larry Wade, one of the younger men who have achieved world-class status, coming back from an injury, and he's running really well.
He's running very well. He ran a very impressive semifinal, slowed at the finish, and ran 13:19 into with a 2.3 win behind him. But it was a great race. He looked very impressive and slowed and looked back at the field.
Man, I think he's got great talent on the flats and on the hurdles. Still really just charging along, Terrence Trammell.
Terrence Trammell spent the indoor season running the 60. He's flirted around with the 100 a little bit at the beginning of this season, but he ran a very good race, almost PR'd at the Prefontaine Classic earlier this year, and finished a very close second to Alan Johnson, his training partner.
10 hurdles, 3.5 feet high. If you're 6 feet tall, they come up to about your 4th rib. And it's 8 steps to the first hurdle, and these athletes take 3 steps between hurdles, and then the run-in is a total of 6 steps. And there you see Alan Johnson likes to be very aggressive for the first 7 hurdles.
Expect this to be a very close race. These guys are all very fast, and 3 guys are running very well right now.
And we got a false start. In the event, Michael, of course, that has the most false starts in history, it's this event for some reason. These guys jump much more than the 100-meter guys. While we have a minute, let's take a look. There it is, right off in the center of the track. And it is going to be out in lane 4. That looks like it's going to be Larry Wade.
Well, these guys want to get to that first hurdle. They want to get to that first hurdle first. They want to be the first one there. That sets the pace for the race. And this is a race where definitely you want to put pressure on some of the other runners so they start to bang hurdles.
One more false start and you're gone. At the collegiate level, in the NCAA championships, if you false start once, you are gone. No points for your team, and you're out of the event. The key, get out into a rhythm right away. Alan Johnson says, I rely on memory for the first 7 steps, and then fatigue sets in, and I have to really focus and concentrate. I don't worry about hitting hurdles because I know I can ride them almost as I start to knock them down. Johnson gets out well. It is Alan Johnson. Beside him, Larry Wade. And he's really pounding the hurdles. This is Alan Johnson with the lead. Here comes Wade. It is Johnson and Wade. And Terrence Trammell fighting for second place. Excellent time. 13.08 seconds. And they run into virtually no wind at all. A very, very slight headwind. Terrific performance by all of those guys. 13.08 for Johnson. And we'll await the official results. For second place, it was that close. Terrence Trammell does get it.
Alan Johnson got a good start, but Terrence Trammell got a great start over on the right side of Alan Johnson. This shows the leadership, the veteran Alan Johnson just biding his time, not getting upset, not panicking, and not focusing on Terrence Trammell out there. Doesn't hit as many hurdles as he normally does. Runs a pretty clean race for Alan Johnson and holds off Larry Wade, who was charging very strong at the end and had problems with that last hurdle, as you saw right there.
Well, the young Lions chasing the senior citizen at 31 years of age, and Johnson gets the second fastest time in the world. Let's get out to Dwight Stones.
All right, Larry, not the prettiest race you've ever run, and your training mate just pointed at you. You want another one. You just keep going. Second best time in the world this year in virtually still conditions.
It was a good race. I knew Wade was going to be ready to run fast in the semis. And Terrence, I trained with him, so I knew he was going to be ready. He knew I was going to be ready. And I'm just happy to come out here and win my 5th national title.
What about the rest of the season? I mean, you've been saying for years that world record should be yours. What's it going to take to change the situation so that you can finally run under 12:91?
I think I'm just going to have to start being a little bit more consistent with the fast times, like run 13:08 on a regular basis. So on a good day, I can dip under 12:91. I feel like this year is going to be my year to do it, though.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that later in the season, Alan. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Well, there you see the results. and again, a superb performance. Alan Johnson now has the 2 fastest times in the world this year. When we come back, it'll be Susie Hamilton. Can she catch Regina Jacobs? Regina Jacobs is 38 years of age. She isn't aging. She's just ripening.
Imagine what you would do with an extra $100 a day. Well, if you sign for your purchases whenever you use your Visa check card, you could turn fantasy into reality. Because each time you sign, you'll be entered to win $100 a day for a whole year. Imagine that. The Visa check card. It's everywhere you want to be.
Looking for high voltage energy that tastes great? Try new Centrum Performance Energy Bars. Shockingly great taste. Plus, all the energy you'd expect from Centrum Performance. New Centrum Performance Energy Bars. Taste the energy.
Want to spice up your night? When it's late, think outside the bun.
The Pure Water filter is so easy to install and use. You already have all the tools you need. Pure Water filters. Your water should be pure.
You know what you never see in car commercials? Real cars. Cars that have been around the block a few times. The kinds of cars that need new Castrol GTX high mileage. Specially engineered to protect against oil burn-off better than other leading motor oils. New Castrol GTX high mileage. It helps older cars feel young again.
You can't win!
Find out what it took to make Rocky IV from its biggest star. Rocky IV, the movie and a behind-the-scenes look. 9 p.m. tonight, only on ESPN Classic.
Why would I want to go to the ESPY Awards?
Feels like a cross between the Grammys and the Oscars.
It's so much fun.
It's so cool.
Sports at its greatest.
ESPYs, baby. Hey, you're in the major leagues.
It's the 10th annual ESPY Awards, hosted by Samuel L. Jackson, with live performances by Snoop Dogg, Bootsy Collins, the original P-Funk, and Carlos Santana.
It's a jamming party, I'm telling you.
I've been in a movie, but I'll never be on the Cowboys.
The 10th annual ESPY Awards, Wednesday, July 10th, 9 p.m. on ESPN.
Welcome back, everyone. We are live for the women's 1,500 meters. And 16 athletes are standing across the track ready to take off here. This is called a metric mile, and here is our list of competitors. 16 of them in all, including the greats such as Regina Jacobs and Susie Faber Hamilton and so forth, all the way down to 3 collegians in the race, Katie Poindexter from University of Texas San Antonio, Beth Brewster, and Kristen Worth, who'll be a senior at Arkansas. The new with the old all mixed in here in the women's 1,500. And there's Regina Jacobs, and what a story here at 38 years of age.
What a story. 10 U.S. titles. I mean, dating all the way back to 1987. And she has such versatility. She's won titles in the 800 meters, the 5,000 meters, the 1,500. I mean, very incredible athlete. And she's still out here at 38 years of age.
Taking the lead right now as it gets underway, Susie Faber Hamilton, who's a 2-time Olympian and coming back really from some really traumatic times last year where she didn't really run well and was very disappointed. She's changed her training with Coach Peter Tagan, who's done a great job up at Wisconsin, and is focusing a little bit more on stamina training and has run sparingly so far this season, is gearing her efforts towards Europe. And let's see what happens. That is Sarah Schwald, who has taken the lead.
Sarah Schwald also coming back from some frustrating years where she thought she was going to have to end her career, and she took a giant leap forward in 2001. She finished 3rd at the U.S. Outdoor Championships a year ago, and she's running very well and with renewed confidence.
And there you see them coming up to the 400-meter time. They're not far away right now, and it is Schwald and Faber in 2nd place, and Regina Jacobs in 3rd. And there you see the records right now. Mary Slaney has the American record, and Regina from 2 years ago has the meet record.
But you see Susie Favor Hamilton just overtook Sarah Schwal. Regina Jacobs content with just staying behind Sarah Schwal right now. I'm sure she won't want to lose too much contact with Susie Favor Hamilton. A lot of strategy in the 1,500 meters, and especially between these two because they're so familiar with each other, Regina Jacobs and Susie Favor Hamilton.
Michael Schwal ran very well in Europe, kept getting better and better last year in the international circuit. She's right now third, feels she can hang with them. And Susie Favor Hamilton can run off a slow pace or a tough pace. Regina likes to draft off her. Rarely does she get in front of her to lead. I think she feels she has superior sprint speed, does Jacobs, despite being 38 years of age. The race turning a little tactical here. They've slowed down. First 400 meters, 63.9 seconds. That is a 4:16, 4:18 mile type pace.
And Regina Jacobs does have superior speed, Larry. She's around the 800 meters. She's actually won a U.S. title before in the 800 meters. She has superior speed. I'm sure that Susie Favor Hamilton knows that, and her coach knows that, and they have devised a strategy to deal with that. I think that means that Susie Favor Hamilton, in order to beat Regina Jacobs, has to be in the lead and have 4 or 5 meters at least on her coming off the last curve.
The 800 meters passed. It did slow down. 2 minutes, 12.9 seconds by 800 meters. It has turned tactical after a solid first lap, and it should come down to a sprint, maybe between those two women, the 38-year-old Regina Jacobs and Susie Favor Hamilton.
Well, at this point, this race favors Regina Jacobs, in my opinion, because she does have superior speed.
That is Maisha Marzell from the Santa Monica Track Club wearing those turquoise colors there among the 4. Behind her is Schwal, who does train with Susie Favor Hamilton. They are both on the inside. And they're coming up now to the bell lap. 1 lap to go. They hit the bell lap in 3:05 plus with 1 lap to go.
Well, Maisha Marzell right now, a newcomer on the scene, is hanging with this crowd at the beginning, at the front of the race. We basically have 2 races here.
And there you see Jacobs on the backstretch beginning to move. She's looking out there. She seems to be trying to control things a little bit. She's looking around. She's still out in lane 2, but has got control of this race because it looks difficult to me for Susie Favor Hamilton to get by on the inside. Coming up to 200 meters to go. The race about to blow open. Susie seeming to lose some ground here. It looks like Schwal beginning to make the move.
Well, this race favors Regina Jacobs, doesn't favor Susie Favor, and I think that at this point, Sarah Schwal is now in a position to also finish ahead of Susie Favor Hamilton.
Well, it's going to be 100 meters to go right now, coming down the home stretch, and all the guns are out right now. Regina Jacobs looking over her shoulder. She knows she's got a comfortable victory. Second place, the battle goes on. Susie Favor Hamilton in second, and it's Sarah Schwal in third. An easy 11th title. The 38-year-old Regina Jacobs, 4 minutes 9 and 57/100ths of a second. Amazing. Amazing. She consistently runs well. She said, I'm not going to double and triple as much as I used to do last year. I'm 38. I'm going to be careful in what I do. There you see the backstretch, and this is where the battle began to take place.
And you have to be very careful. What has happened right here is Susie Favor has allowed herself to be boxed in when Regina Jacobs started to take the lead by Sarah Schwal. You have to be aware of what's going on around you and not let the box form around you, because at that point, if you have to break your pace and then start again, that takes a lot out of you, and that may be what happened to Susie Favor Hamilton.
It was the best performance by an American this year. Dwight Stones is down with Regina.
All right, Larry. Regina, I know when I see you loping with a lap to go that you've got something left in the tank. You looked over at Susie Favor Hamilton at the bell. I think you must have been saying in your head, you're mine.
Well, I thought that she and Sarah were going to work together to make it a really fast pace. And I thought, great. Then when Susie took the pace, she totally slowed it down. I was like, oh my God, this feels like a 5,000. So I was just eating into my hands. I'm just happy it's my 11th national title in the 1500. And I'm not passing the torch to anyone. This old lady's going to be around to the Olympics.
Well, you're unbeatable on this facility. Another great performance.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And what a great crowd.
Well, a Stanford alumnus, Regina Jacobs, happy to be home here. She lives in Oakland. Susie Favor Hamilton second. Sarah Schwal gets third. She's competing in high school rodeo competition. In college, it was the heptathlon. 9 years ago, she tried the pole vault for the first time. World record holder Stacy Dragila is coming up.
Thanks, dude. Later.
Sometimes you just need a dog. The Big Bite. Oscar Mayer goodness with a Frito-Lay Big Grab and a Pepsi Gulp for $1.99.
Hey, what's up? I'm not here right now. After the beep, you know what to do. Or if you're desperate, call me on my cell.
Kidding, right? Sorry. Your friends are out there, together having fun. And you are here, grounded, because you smoked weed and your parents found out. Lose your parents' trust, and you can kiss your social life goodbye.
Ultra powerful, ultra easy. That's new Lotramin Ultra, the new athlete's foot cure. Why is it ultra powerful? It's got a new prescription strength ingredient. Why is it ultra easy? Because you just use it once a day. Ultra powerful, ultra easy. New Lotramin Ultra.
Fans should not be subject to the business of sports.
Texans are going to win a Super Bowl in 3 years.
There's a strike. I'm done with baseball.
Red Storm? What's up with that name?
I'll miss Dennis Miller.
The snowboarders in Salt Lake City were sellouts.
Homosexuals in professional sports should come out of the closet.
Bratwurst in Miller Park.
Pay college athletes.
Greatest American sport, hands down, is Little League.
As long as a coach wins a game, I don't give a damn what's on his resume.
It's insulting and a crime that Tony Dungy was fired.
Welcome back to Palo Alto, the 2002 USA Track and Field National Championships, one of the premier events coming into this competition. The Visa Women's Pole Vault, and Olympic champion world record holder Stacy Dragila. She was clean through this attempt, first attempt at 14 feet 9 inches. She told me, there's world record in my legs if I can just square up my jump. Well, at this height, that's exactly what she did. She squared up beautifully. She had the exact right pole and had her height in exactly the right place over the bar. She won the competition at that height, had it raised 6 inches to 15.3. And again, still clean throughout the competition. This was a height that was a world record just 2 years ago at the trials. Stacy wins it at 15.3 after one very close jump at the world record. Mary Sauer and Melissa Miller were second and third. Larry?
Thank you, Dwight. The men's 1,500 meters is next. The metric mile, as it is called, add 18 seconds to the final time, and that's what their mile time would work out to. There you see the record, Steve Scott's record standing for this meet, standing since 1982, 20 years ago. And there's the 1,500 meters, the finalists who have qualified to get here. 4 minutes and 17 seconds was the winning time 100 years ago in this meet. Imagine the improvement that they've made now. These guys are going to run 3:40s or something like that. And there's Seneca Lassiter, who has been training up with Bernard Lagat, ranked #2 in the world up in Pullman, Washington. He is going to go to Europe and see what he can do in international competition right after this meet. There's Brian Berryhill.
Brian Berryhill, 2001 NCAA indoor champion, outdoors and indoors from Colorado State. He finished a disappointing 7th last year, but he's got a lot of talent. He ran very well. He's been running very confident. I think his confidence has soared since he got here to these U.S. championships. Ran very well in the early round.
I love the fact he was a wide receiver in Medford, just outside of Medford, Oregon, in high school, and was a 48-second quarter miler who moved up to the mile, all the way up. And we've got Jason London here also, a Stanford alum who was 4th in the 1,500 meters at the 2000 U.S. Olympic trials.
He actually ran down Brian Berryhill at this year's indoor U.S. championships to win, and that gave him a lot of confidence. He didn't make it out of the first round of last year's U.S. championship, so this time he's in the final.
Let's set the field for you. From the U.S. Army elite team, 9 athletes have been invited to compete for the Army, and they are amongst the best. Jason Pyre is in second place. That is Mike Miller in the lead. Mike Miller was a former 200 and 400-meter runner in high school in the state of Oregon and stepped up and ran eventually 3:38 in college and has a lot of talent here, and he showed very well early in the heats. Berryhill is in third place. Seneca Lassiter loping along in fourth. Let's get down to Dwight Stones with a 59-second first lap.
All right, thanks, Larry. Stacy Dragila, our pole vault winner, once again. Some shots at the world record. You love this facility. What's it going to take to put you over the top and eventually 16 feet?
A bigger pole. I just confirmed with my coach, and I felt really great today. Things were lining up. The crowd was awesome. Weather a little iffy. but I just need a bigger pole to slow down my attempts. And so I'm heading to Europe, seeing my top competitors, and we're going to take some bigger poles with me.
All right, well, I have to tell you, you've been so close so many times. You're now healthy, and you've got a great competitor in Svetlana Feofanova of Russia to jump against hopefully a few times this summer.
That's right. I know she's been jumping well, so it's going to be great to go head-to-head with her and show her what I have. And indoors, of course, was a cruddy situation for me, and I'm ready to show her that I want the world record, and I'm going to have the outdoor world record.
You need to atone for that indoor season.
That's right. I'm going to show her what I have.
Thanks so much for coming back.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Let me tell you, Stacy Dragil is the type of person you want to go out and have a beer with. She is great. Mike Miller continuing to power away as they have passed the 800 meters. And the time, 1 minute 59 and 9/10 of a second. It is Lassiter in the lead. Pyra's in second place. It continues to be, let's see, right up there, that is Ibrahim Aden, who is right now moved up into third as I can see them here from a distance. And the pack is really very comfortable. This is going to turn into a kicker's race, Michael.
It is. They're very bunched up. This is much different from the women's race where we saw two different races and 4 people in the lead. You see Seneca Lassiter right now in very good position coming up on the outside, making sure, as I mentioned in the women's race, that he doesn't get boxed in.
And it is Michael Miller just loping along Seneca Lassiter, who can run a 54 last quarter. On the inside, Ibrahim Aden, who can run 55 or so. There's some kickers who are hanging tough. The field bunching up, coming up to 1,200 meters in this race, just shy of a full 3/4 of a mile, and they reached that in just about 3 minutes and 7/10 of a second, and the sprint is on, 300 meters to the tape. Lassiter.
You saw Seneca Lassiter make a burst with 300 meters to go. That may prove to have been too early because I don't know how much he knows about these other guys. With a race that's this close, you want to kind of save it for the end. You see him now starting to fade a little bit.
Lassiter can hold on well. We'll see. That is Brian Berryhill. It's moved up. Berryhill kicking well. He has run sparingly coming back from minor injuries. And it is Berryhill on the outside. Seneca Lassiter on the inside. Ibrahim Aden out in lane 3. And it's going to be right to the wire. Lassiter and Berryhill. Lassiter gets the nod in 3 minutes 40 and 99/100ths of a second. Grant Robertson from Stanford gets up possibly for 4th. Aden winds up in 3rd.
Well, this was a very exciting race. Right to the end of it, as I mentioned earlier, Seneca Lassiter started his kick about 300 meters to go and really pushed the pace on a race that was already pretty slow, but pushed the pace and got Brian Berryhill involved. Brian Berryhill came up at the end and challenged him. A foot race now to the finish line. Seneca Lassiter struggling and just holding off Brian Berryhill for the win.
And what a battle it was with Brian Berryhill and Seneca Lassiter right to the tape. Speed prevails. Lassiter has been training hard, running well, so hasn't Berryhill, and he wins by less than half a step. And at 16 years of age, she made the U.S. Olympic team as an alternate. That's like a 16-year-old making it in the NBA. Don't blink. Marion is next.
I'm Jay Moore. Join me Tuesday with my guests Jeff Gordon and Al Sharpton. That's a lot of hair product.
He's tough, yet sensitive.
Do you ever feel guilty about just beating the snot out of people?
He's smart, yet humble.
Come on, go to the way!
He's all that.
Word!
Always be charming. And a little more.
The Zamboni makes it safe for the third period.
More sports kicks off the block with Jeff Gordon and Al Sharpton. Tuesday, 8 Eastern on
Can you fix the sink?
Sure, but first, allow me to illustrate the latest in digital wizardry. Interactive channels updated throughout the day and with helpful information all at the touch of your remote. Look no further than your TV for the latest sports scores, weather changes in your atmosphere, and that of other nearby planets. You can even look up local movie listings starring your favorite leading man.
How about in the role of plumber? New interactive channels on Charter Digital Cable. From the company with the most advanced digital platform.
Call now and upgrade to a digital premium package free. 1-800-800-CABLE.
Sure, the big out-of-town banks want my business, right? But my company's local, so I started to look for a better bank.
We do business right here at home.
Now, I have a bank that's local, that keeps my money right here, and that helps us all. A bank that knows me and can make decisions right now. It's a bank that does business right, here at home.
We do business right here at home.
The women's 200 meters, the athletes are on the track. And they are waiting on the gun. And while we have a second, let's take a look at the 1,500-meter final results here. Ibrahim Aden winds up third. Brian Berryhill gets second. Seneca Lassiter runs the equivalent of about a 3:57 mile. He was also the winner here of this national championships in 1997. Well, there you see the record, and it is held since 1993, 20 years ago, by Evelyn Ashford. What a great tribute to her performance back then, getting under 22 seconds. And there you see the field. A woman who was ranked third in the world at 200 meters is in lane 5, Kelly White. Marion Jones outside of her. A young star from LSU, Mona Lee, is in 7, and it should be an interesting race.
It should. Marion Jones, this is her race. I mean, she can run 100, 200, she can run 400. This is in the middle of 200 meters. It's a great race for her because she can really get herself stretched out in the 200 meters. She wants to run a really fast time here. The conditions are right for her. The wind has died down a little bit. There you see Kelly White. Kelly White actually surprised last year at the World Championships. She finished 7th in the 100 meters and then came back and took the bronze medal in the 200 meters at the World Championships last year in Edmonton.
Her dad, Kelly White, was ranked 4th in the world in the 100 meters back in 1957. The apple, Michael, did not fall very far from that tree.
That's true, and her mother ran on Jamaica's 4x100 meters at the 1972 Olympics while still in high school.
Kelly White will be in lane 5. The turn's a little more gentle. You earn your performances here in the final based on how fast you ran your trials.
And because of that, people may wonder why Marion Jones is out in lane 6. They actually do draw, though, once you finish in the top 4, which she did for the lanes 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Marion gets away well. Watch lanes 5 towards the outside. Kelly White. Lane 6 is Marion Jones. Marion Jones moving well. Kelly White drawing on her equally well here. It is Marion with about a step on Kelly White. Kelly White drawing up almost even. It is Marion by half a step. Marion Jones has the lead. Kelly White running a great race. Marion Jones the winner in 22.34 seconds. Her first 200-meter race of the year.
Well, Marion Jones has had some close races here. First in the 100, now in the 200. She got a very good start. She could not see Kelly White, who was a main competitor behind her in lane 5. Kelly White was in a great position to key off of Marion Jones, who just basically kind of dragged her around the corner. Kelly White in a position she's not used to being in right here, drawing almost even with Marion Jones. A great race by Kelly White. That's got to give her a lot of confidence, but also an equally good job by Marion Jones, holding off Kelly White and holding her composure to take the victory.
Let me correct myself. Marion has run 200 meters, the fastest in the world, and she has the 2 fastest times now at 200 meters in the world. White is down with Marion Jones.
Well, another double for you, but it wasn't that easy. Kelly White kind of had a good position being able to watch you all the way through the turn.
Yeah. I didn't see her, though, which is a good thing. I felt good. You know, I ran a good race yesterday, and I'm glad I can come back today and, you know, do the successful double.
It seemed like you need a little fine-tuning in both your 200 and your 100. The semifinal in the 100 was fabulous, but the 100 seemed a little bit off. Do you feel good about this 200 race?
No, I do. You know, there's probably only going to be one more this year, probably World Cup, and I feel good going into that. And overall, I feel good heading over to Europe, Dwight.
Congratulations again. Great performance here at the National.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to Marion Jones, and she has the 2 fastest times in the world for 200 meters this year, and she certainly seems to be running well at both the 100 and the 200. Well, welcome, everybody. Michael Johnson, along with Larry Ross and Dwight Stones down in the infield, hoping you've enjoyed our coverage. 2002 coming up here. San Francisco making a serious bid. You're involved with that. Can you tell us about it?
I am, and I'm very excited about the Bay Area's bid. I think that this meet here just shows what we can do here in the Bay Area. The weather's great. It's a beautiful place. We've got lots of facilities. Everything is in place. They have an unbelievable plan for the Olympics here. 2012 is when we want to have the games here, and I think that everybody here in the Bay Area is very excited. We've got lots of support.
Let's get down to Dwight Stones. Dwight?
All right, guys, great field event action here in the national championships. Let's wrap up some of the stuff that we saw earlier today. We've seen the pole vault. Let's wrap it up with the high jump and the men's discus. A man with a great name for the high jump, Nathan Leeper, defends his title from 2001 on his final attempt at 7.7 1/4. He was behind the entire competition. This man has got courage to spare. An Olympian in 2000. Expect him to be right in the mix next year at the Worlds and in 2004 at the Olympic Games. And Leeper wins it over Klinger and Hemingway. And the men's discus, two-time Olympian Adam Setleff, the 31-year-old former University of Washington Husky, hasn't really been doing much in 2002. Waits till the national championships, and on his second throw, simply wins the whole competition. 209 feet 1 inch. It's not going to scare anybody in the rest of the world, but just let him get a chance to get over to Europe. He beats Godina and Waltz. Let's go back up to Larry.
The men's 200 meters is next. And Michael, your old race. Your old race. You don't miss it at all.
I don't miss it at this point. You know, it's exciting to watch these guys out there, but you know, I had my time. It's time for some new guys, and that's what we got.
Who impresses you most in the field as you see the American records and the world records?
I think you got to look at Bernard Williams. Sean Crawford ran a very good, had a very good season last year. Darvis Patton looked incredible in his semifinal. Very comfortable, very relaxed. 20.15, I believe he ran. He was very comfortable. I expect him to take this race just based on his semifinal alone.
And there is Floyd Hurd. He is in lane 3. Many a great tune is played on an old fiddle. He's now 36 years of age. I'm amazed at how well some of these guys are running. It's women, too.
Well, he took probably 4 or 5 years where he just wasn't even ranked in the top 10. And then in 2000, just came back from out of nowhere and ran 19.88 to make the Olympic team.
Bernard Williams.
Bernard Williams probably better at 100 meters, but decided to run the 200 meters here. He's a great 100-meter runner, one of the best in the world. Not in the field in the 100 here, but in the 200, he's been impressive.
Sean Crawford, what an amazing talent. I'm impressed with this guy, and frankly, he doesn't, he trains by himself. He likes to do it the Lone Ranger style, and somehow it's worked.
He definitely does things his own way. He does some things that shock quite a bit of us watching him on the circuit, but, you know, he's got his own thing, and he gets it done on the track. Last year, he was the Google Games champion and finished 3rd at the World Championships in Edmonton.
The wind seems to have died down slightly. Darvis Patton, keep an eye on him. He will be in lane 6. Bernard Williams in 4, Floyd Hurd in 3. And they get a false start. While we have a few seconds, let's go through some results of some of the other events that were contested here. The men's 10,000 meters, a great race. Abdirahman, Alan Culpepper, and Meb Keflezgi all ran together, and it was a great last lap. Meb the winner. Tom Pappas, who was ranked 5th at the Olympics, he finished in Sydney, winds up the winner. The heptathlon was won by Sheila Burrell, who's been one of America's best for years and won handily, as you can see by her margin of victory. In the triple jump, it was a great competition before this crowd close to the stands. Walter Davis, a Sydney Olympian, won and prevailed by almost 1 foot. The men's 800 meters, David Krummenacker on a home stretch duel pulled away from Kadivas Robinson and Derek Peterson for the victory. The men's performances here have been great overall. The false start goes to Ramon Clay in lane 5 at the 200 meters here. We are live. Half a lap around your local high school track. These guys can cover that distance in about 20 seconds. Just think about that. Hurd's in 3. Bernard Williams in 4. Starter holds them a long time. No false start. They're away well, and they're pretty even out of the blocks, Michael. Out there, it looks like Sean Crawford beginning to take the lead. It is Crawford around the turn with a slight lead. Sean Crawford out in lane 7. Here comes the rest of the world starting to close in. Ramon Clay on the inside. It is right now Bernard Williams getting up for the slightest margin of victory, it appears.
I believe that was Ramon Clay that got up for the victory.
You are right that they have the same uniform side by side. That was Ramon Clay next to him in the time 20 and 27 100ths of a second. Darvis Patton winds up in 2nd place, and it's going to be Bernard Williams a 1/10 of a second behind Clay in 3rd.
20.27, not the most impressive of times, but Ramon Clay wasn't in the lead coming off the turn. You see right here, Bernard Williams has 2 or 3 meters on him. So does Darvis Patton. He comes up. Ramon Clay running a very nice race.
Well, congratulations to all of the athletes here. Let's get down to Dwight Stones.
All right, Ramon Clay, runner-up here last year, and you saw the fast time by Darvis Patton in the semifinal. What was the race plan?
Well, to really get out and be aggressive. I let it slip through my fingers last year, and I missed out on some training just due to prior to the championships. I just want to come out and really be aggressive.
Have you got the kind of season in you where you can hold it all the way through to the middle of September?
Oh, yeah, I'm just getting started.
All right, man. Congratulations. Thanks. A great run.
Thanks.
Congratulations to all our athletes. And here are the results of the men's 200 meters. It is Clay and Patton and Williams. And we'll be back for more exciting details of the 2002 championships right after this.
If you only read the front page of the newspaper or watched the first 5 minutes of the network news, you might wonder if you have to reconfigure DNA or hit 74 home runs to make a difference. What about a woman who actually keeps her 24-hour diner open 24 hours a day? What about someone who does something better than they did yesterday? Even if you don't make headlines, can you make progress every day?
I am Emmett Smith.
I'm Emmett Smith.
I'm Emmett Smith. I am Emmett Smith.
I am Emmett Smith.
No, really, I am.
Worried that the you shopping online really isn't you? That's why Visa's introducing Verified by Visa, a new security service that will help protect Visa cards from unauthorized online use with a personal password. This service is only available on select Visa cards issued by participating banks.
I am Emmett Smith. Please.
To learn more and to check if your card is eligible for this service, go to visa.com/verified.
I think she's smiling at me. Great smile. I wonder what her mom looks like. I'm wearing my lucky boxers. She'd look good in my boxers. What if she snores? What if I snore? Don't trip. Don't drool. Relax. How's my breath?
The intense flavor crystals and icebreakers give you a long-lasting fresh breath. And that should give you some confidence.
Get the cool. Get the cool to shine.
Icebreakers. The best way to break the ice.
Want to spice up your night? When it's late, think outside the bun.
Bottled water getting expensive. Try pure filtered water. Just as good as bottled at a price that's 10 times less. Doesn't that sound better? Pure water filters. Your water should be pure.
Warning. This movie is so exhilarating. It can only be seen in IMAX theaters and other large format cinemas.
Now, the ultimate movie with the ultimate thrills is on the ultimate big screen. ESPN's Ultimate X.
This guy's crazy.
Rated PG, now playing at IMAX theaters and large format cinemas. Check local listing.
The 2002 USA Outdoor Track and Field Championships are brought to you by Visa, preferred card of the USA Track and Field team. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Verizon, make progress every day. We're all saddened in track and field with the loss of Willie Davenport. We were all saddened in track and field with the loss of Willie Davenport at the age of 59. Michael, you knew him, I knew him.
A great guy. I mean, great person for the sport, a great ambassador for the sport. He did some amazing things in the hurdles, and just a great person to be around. His passing is definitely tragic.
It was. 5 Olympic teams he made. He was an Olympic champion in the high hurdles. Let's go down to Dwight Stones.
Pretty much, Willie Davenport and I were on 2 Olympic teams together. My very first in 1972, and he taught me a lot about what it meant to be a champion on the world-class circuit. 1976, he comes back after winning a gold medal in 68 and wins a bronze medal in the hurdles. Ends up his career by being on the bobsled team in the Olympic Winter Games. A phenomenal loss for track and field. We will miss him, his enthusiasm, a great diplomat, a great representative of the sport in track and field. It's a shame that we lost him at the age of 59. Thanks for everybody who produced this event. We had a great event. Outstanding competition here, outstanding crowd. Great job by you two guys up in the booth.
Well, you know, really outstanding competition. Great event, and I think well done by all the people out here at Stanford USATF. We had capacity crowds here. Over 30,000 people attended. Our track and field coverage continues on Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. We're the first stop of the Golden League meets that you'll see all 8 of them on ESPN. It's the Bislett Games from Oslo. And so from Michael Johnson and Dwight Stones, I'm Larry Rawson. So long from Stanford, California. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Coming up next, the U.S. National Wrestling Championship. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage, everyone. So long from Palo Alto, California.
Hi, everybody. I'm Larry Nugent, and I'll be your host for the 2002 U.S. National Wrestling Championships from the Las Vegas.
Great kick, that's why I had to put...
World and American records held by Michael Johnson. And let's go down to Lewis Johnson.
All right, Dwight, thanks a lot. Well, in the past, when you mentioned Tyree Washington's name, you could honestly ask yourself, are you talking about Washington, the football player, or Washington, the track and field athlete? He told me that in the past, when track was not going well, Tyree would call his football agent and ask for a workout simply out of frustrations. But those days are over, according to Tyree. He's fully committed, ran 44.97 last week in Japan with the help of his new coach, retired American quarter miler Antonio Pettigrew. Carol?
Thanks, Lewis. In lane 2 is Felix Sanchez. He had an incredible year in 2002, ranked #1 in the world at 400 hurdles, #3 at 400. While he's run 44.90, he's admitted to not really knowing how to run this race. While most stars would be angry with being in lane 2, he is happy with it because most of his major competitors, he says, are outside of him. He will run his race off of them. Dan?
You know, Carol, being in lane 2, he is going to get a big advantage so that he can creep up on anybody. I love a 400-meter hurdler in this race. Why? Because you take the hurdles out of the 400, and it's just easier. He's proven that he can run in cool weather, and he's also proven that he can come forward when it really, really counts, and this is one of those times.
Here's how they'll line up. Alain Francisque, then Sanchez, Leonard Bird, Michael Blackwood, #1 in the world last year, Greg Houghton, Avard Moncourt, former world champion, Tyree Washington out in 7, and Derek Brew out in 8. And Dan, this is the strangest lane draw that I've seen in a while. Out in lane 7 and 8, you've got the world indoor champion with Tyree Washington in 7, and the fastest man in the world this year in Derek Brew in 8.
You know, what's really strange, the draw is odd, but I really think if nobody can run 44.50 or better, this is Sanchez's race. Although I did talk to Tyree Washington yesterday, and he said that he was happy with his time in Osaka, but the trip really beat him up, so we're going to have to see how he fares.
There's Tyree Washington. He'll only have Derek Brew to draw off of in lane 8. So from the inside, Francisque, Sanchez, Bird, Blackwood, Houghton, Moncourt, Washington, and Brew. And early on, it looks like Derek Brew out in lane 8 trying to make a move.
Well, everybody really, except for Brew, just kind of got out that first 100 meters very tentatively. Although Francisque on the inside lane made a pretty decent move as well as we come into the 200-meter mark.
Felix Sanchez lagging at this point, but that's not unusual. Greg Houghton also making a move from Jamaica as we go through the tour, and Moncourt of the Bahamas, the defending world champion. Here comes Tyree Washington out in lane 7. Avard Moncourt just on his inside as they come up the finishing stretch. It's Washington in lane 7, and in lane 4, Michael Blackwood making a move. He was #1 in the world in 2002, but it's going to be the world indoor champion, Tyree Washington, taking it from out in lane 7, unofficially 44.70. And a great performance for Washington off a really poor lane draw.
He didn't panic. When he got to 200 meters, he didn't panic at all. He just kept to his rhythm. And when he saw that he was really in control of this race with 100 meters to go, he said, I'm not going to let these guys sneak up on me on the inside. And he just held his rhythm all the way to the end.
44.70, unofficially the best time in the world this year, and there is Washington second from the left, Dan.
He's not out in front at this point, but he just didn't panic. And I think what Tyree has done so well here in this race, his head is level, he's driving his arms. You see some of the other guys really start to struggle. He just let his turnover carry him all the way to the line.
So Tyree Washington makes the best of his lane draw.
and runs the fastest time in the world in 2003. He thinks he's excited about it? We'll see. Let's go down to Lewis.
All right, Dwight, thanks so much. So what does 44.71 tell you?
Well, it just tells me I'm on track, just getting my rhythm back. You know, the 400 meters, I mean, those 18 months I took off were a lot, but I just thank God today for the victory, you know, and just have my wife, Charlotte Washington, support me, but today was great.
Do you have your eye on 43 seconds and another famous guy with the initials MJ and a world record potentially down the line?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's always an ultimate goal of mine, and hopefully this year I can be able to hit that. But just like I said, I'm just happy, you know, for the victory and just work towards my rhythm.
All right, thanks so much, Tyree.
Thanks a lot.
Dwight?
All right, Lewis, final results. Tyree Washington with the fastest time in the world in 2003 wins it. Michael Blackwood is second. Greg Houghton third. So that you know, Felix Sanchez finished seventh. Can Tyree Washington be the next Michael Johnson? Only time will tell. At the University of Southern California, she won 4 consecutive NCAA 100-meter titles. Can the diminutive one, Angela Williams, step up and run with the world's elite? The women's 100 meters is coming up.
My name is Angela Williams. I am 5'1" and something. I might be small, but I'm still doing big things.
Angela Williams gets off quickly.
Angela Williams will win. The game face is seriously on.
Boy, Williams just put that field away.
She is just so much better than everybody else.
¿Dónde está Texas?
Hacia el norte.
Finish line, the place to go for Nike Shox.
Don't you love the way your teeth feel just after you've been to the dentist? Well, now you can get that same feeling between visits with the Crest Spin Brush Pro, America's #1 selling electric toothbrush. The Spin Brush Pro is the only leading toothbrush with 2 powered heads, one that spins and one that moves up and down to give you that just been to the dentist clean feeling. In fact, the Spin Brush Pro removes up to 49% more plaque than an ordinary manual toothbrush and reduces gingivitis by up to 60%. It's no wonder that 8 out of 10 people who tried the Spin Brush Pro said it was better than any other brush they've ever used. So not only
the fact that Marion Jones will not be competing, she's expecting a child later on in the summer, will not contest the World Championships, will not defend her 100-meter title. For more, let's go down to Carol.
Dwight, this is Angela Williams' first pro outdoor season. After the indoor season, her first indoor season, she brought home a silver medal from the World Indoor Championships. I asked her if she was ready for this race. She said she's been running well. She feels confident and well prepared for this race. What she's really looking for is that first legal race under 11 seconds. I asked her if today was the day. She said, well, maybe, who knows. Lewis?
Well, Carol, Christy Gaines, on the other hand, is one of the most experienced dashers in the world. Earlier this season, she's talking about working on her start, perfecting that. The first 20 meters, she's having some struggles. But, you know, many people are talking about the fact that Marion Jones is not running this season and its effect on a day like today. But Christy told me directly that Marion's absence has no effect on what she'll do in lane 5 today. She's using her veteran experience. But, Dan, do you buy that?
You know, that really is hard to buy, Lewis, because if the greatest female athlete in the world does not line up next to you, you've got to think, wow, I'm going to sigh a sigh of relief and know that, hey, I've got a chance to win today. So many times when Marion gets in the races, a lot of these athletes, I think, didn't even think they had a chance to win. You know, there's not a 10.9, there's probably not a 10.89 out there. So a lot of these athletes think, hey, I can run 11.2, I can run 11.5 and win this race.
This is how they'll line up. Latasha Kalanda Richardson in 1. Angela Williams will be in 2. Tana Lawrence, the bronze medalist from Sydney, in 3. Tori Edwards, who won in Portland last week, in 4. Then Christy Gaines, Kelly White, Chandra Stirrup, former running mate of Marion Jones down in North Carolina, and Juliet Campbell in lane 8.
Let's keep a close eye on Christy Gaines to see how she does get out of the blocks. As well as lane 4, Tori Edwards was winner last week, at Portland, Oregon with 11.09. Next to her, Tana Lawrence, who is a good starter.
And of course, the breeze has just started to pick up here at Hayward Field for the sprints, as it oftentimes does. Now they've come up here, and it's not certain if they are going to charge anyone with a false start. But in 2003, they've implemented a new false start rule, and that is for the first false start, there's a false start that is put on the entire field, much like it is in swimming. The next person who false starts is then out of the competition. So it really sets a premium on reacting to the gun and not anticipating it.
There was a lot of movement there, Dwight. I'm really not sure who left early, but there was a lot of moving and jockeying around.
Out in lane 7, that's Chandra Stirrup. She has been charged with a false start, but the false start is charged on the entire field, so the next one that jumps is out.
I don't think anybody's really going to be tentative. They just need to wait for the gun and react.
And they're off cleanly this time. Angela Williams out in lane 2. Then it's Christy Gaines trying to make up the deficit in lane 5. Tori Edwards in 4 looks good, but out in lane 7, that's Chandra Stirrup, and it looked like it might be lane 6, Kelly White. Kelly White making a move the last 20 meters of that race. Unofficially 10.96. We'll wait for the wind on that, because so oftentimes here at Eugene at the Prefontaine Classic, there's just slightly too much wind for these sprint and hurdle races.
And that is the fastest time in the world this year.
And it is under the allowable 0.7 meters per second. So Kelly White has run 10.96, which is the fastest time in the world in 2003.
You know, Dwight, that's a personal best for her, and I don't think she cares if the wind was over the allowable. But watch lane 2 here. Angela Williams seems to slip coming out of the blocks. I don't know if her block slipped or whether she stumbled.
Well, there's no question that they slipped. She got up and was almost even with everybody else, which shows you what a great starter she is.
Absolutely. She's renowned for that. I think she's going to be on the 4x100 meter relay in that first leg for a long time. But there's Kelly White in lane 6. Christy Gaines' training partner. She just really pulled away with about 40 meters to go.
Let's go down to Carol Lewis.
Kelly, last month you ran a personal record 10.97 at Mount Sac. 10.96 here. Your season's going well.
I'm really happy. I've been working really hard. Coming off the injury from last year was a lot of work. And also last year was a big disappointment. And I just want to make sure that this season goes a lot better.
How much of a help is it that you are actually training with Christy Gaines, another outstanding sprinter?
It helps us both a lot, and we push each other, and we're also good friends, so that helps.
Congratulations, Lewis.
All right, Carol, thanks a lot. I'm here with Angela Williams, and I can see the frustration on your face. What happened at the start there?
Well, when I was doing my warm-ups, my block slipped, so I asked them, could they stand on them? And the guy was just looking around like, why I can't do it? And so I just tried to step on them again, hope they would stay down. And when I went out, they did it again.